So somebody had asked me the other day to give this video a watch. It's a rather long video from a smaller content creator named Tomfoolery Show. It's called Vosh and Friends Slander, Shoe0nHead. You know, I'm going into this a little bit blind, but they asked me to take a look, and I said, hey, why not? Let's get it started.
What's up, fools? Do I have a great one for you today? Today we're going to be talking about the Balenciaga story and how Shoe0nHead put out a tweet just explaining a bunch of simple facts and the left's heads exploding.
How are we going to do two hours and 11 minutes on this topic? Incredible. Let's see what it is.
So let's start at the beginning. Shoe0nHead posted on Twitter.
Okay.
The brand Balenciaga just did a interesting photo shoot for their new products recently, which included very purposely poorly hidden court documents about virtual child porn. Normal stuff. So then, if we go take a look at the pictures that she...
So apparently, and this is my understanding of the argument from progressives for Shoe0nHead, it's that she'll tactically release stuff that could be considered anti-LGBTQ. It might be true. I have no idea. Sometimes I feel like people are a little too woke, but what do I know?
She posted, there are pictures of two girls, both holding teddy bears. One is wearing kind of punk types of clothes. The other one is wearing very BDSM-like gear. Then there's also another picture that is from another photo shoot.
Yeah, my take on this photo shoot is it kind of seems like they were going for like an edgy look that was like, you know, like, oh, let's do something edgy and like provocative. And frankly, it's inappropriate. But I don't think that they thought that would be the reception, you know, because they're stupid, the Balenciaga people. So
a purse. It's a business-like setting on a desk with lots of documents and papers. But if you zoom in on one of those papers, you will see that there is a document about child pornography. So, of course, there are lots of Republicans who take this post and start running with it, talking about how Balenciaga is in bed with the Democrats, and they start getting into Pizzagate, QAnon sorts of crap. It doesn't seem to be the majority of people, but there are a lot of them, and some of them are fairly prominent as well. The left turns around and blames the fact that right-wingers are crazy on Shoe0nHead. Obviously, they're not blaming Shoe0nHead for right-wingers being crazy, but they are acting like she should know better than to talk about true things and should instead not talk about true things because then right-wingers will take some grand narrative and run with it. Right-wingers are going to do this anyways, and when I say right-wingers, I'm not really talking about right-wingers. We're talking about QAnoners, we're talking about Pizzagators, we're talking about...
Which all tend to be right wingers. Not, I mean, they don't represent all of the right, but like they are on the right, sure.
About conspiracy theories.
No, I can't turn this video up if it's less high as it goes.
Generally just Republicans these days. But there's not really anything Shoe can do about
Do I think that the backlash against Brand is justified? Of course. It was crazy. They went way too far with that narrative. It was crazy. They shouldn't have been trying. They were trying to get people to, they were trying to get a provocative like response out of people, and they got it. They just didn't realize that people would be that angry. Which is not a bad thing that they are. It's a good thing. So it was weird that they did that.
Except for just saying, I don't believe in this conspiracy theory. I just think it's weird that they put this stuff out. And I do think Shoe should have done that. I do think that she should have said something like, I don't believe that this is a conspiracy. I don't think that this is something crazy or nefarious happening here. So I will do.
Okay, so I guess that would be where people are upset. That they think that maybe she actively knows that she's giving people license to feel justified in some crazy conspiracy theories. I mean, maybe, I guess.
That now, virtue signal points. I don't think there's a crazy Pizzagate conspiracy theory where they're locking kids up and raping them.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, thank you. I'm willing to do the virtue signal because I don't have any balls. But I don't know that I necessarily require this of Shoe0nHead in order for her to post the tweet whatsoever. I think it's good if she does it, but I don't think it's necessary. What is that called again, Vosh?
Supererogatory.
Ah, thank you. It is a supererogatory action that I think would be cool, but it is not
supererogatory. Big words. Let's look it up.
Required for her to say something true. I could say that the sky is blue, and then everybody runs off and starts talking about how the sky is actually blue because...
Let's see. Is a performed to an extent exceeding that of required or expected. Wow, interesting.
Because Jewish people are pumping chemicals into the air to make us more feminine, and these lefties would blame me for acknowledging that the sky was blue. They would say, you never should have said the sky was blue. Now you started this conspiracy theory. I'm talking about a very small group of leftists on the internet, but they have followings. They're not necessarily irrelevant. And so I would like to talk about the insane arguments that they've made. So the insane leftists that we're going to talk about today is Denim
She absolutely does. She called Hunter Avalon a pedo defender for having the same take on non-offenders that I do. What, that we should get them help as long as they haven't offended, so it reduces the chance that they'll actually offend in the future? Okay. I don't know if that's true if you're accurately representing her, but yeah, I think if you don't cross the line of of offending, you should be able to get like resources from mental health professionals to help you like manage your hopes, or excuse me, manage your your mental disorder. Frankly, your illness. But once you cross the line, I don't think that you can be helped. I mean, there's something that can help you. If you know what I'm saying. They have islands. They send it to an island, right? But yeah, because the reality is that if for people who haven't offended, if you allow them to come forward and get help they need, it will, rather than like repress what they have to, like repress those feelings and urges that exist in a lot of cases because they were molested themselves, they'll be able to manage those better and not act on them. Sure.
Demon Mama, Xander Hall, and we'll touch on a little bit of Vosh stuff as well.
Okay.
Shoe0nHead went on to make a video about this entire Balenciaga scandal, and then also responded to a bunch of the lefties online who are making horrible critiques of her. Yes, she could have done a better job pushing back at those conspiracy theories. She claims that Balenciaga deleted their Twitter because of her, when they claim they deleted their Twitter because they're protesting Elon Musk, which I guess makes them the first big company to do that. I have trouble believing that Balenciaga deleted their Twitter in the most convenient timing possible. No big company would actually delete their Twitter because of Elon Musk. None of them are going to protest these things and actually lose the ability to gain followers in the middle of a scandal.
Yeah, or use it as an advertising platform, which is obviously very important for businesses.
They just happen to decide that they're going to protest Elon Musk's takeover and delete their Twitter. Then they also deleted all of the pictures off their Instagram. This one also has a bit of a gray area because, yes, it is
all of it, or it's all the ones in this ad campaign. That's weird.
True, as you will hear them mention over and over, Balenciaga always deletes all of their photos every time they come out with a new line. But right now, they haven't come out with a new line. They just deleted all of their photos. And
so they deleted all their photos that were relevant. So this is just something they do. They delete all their old photos when they release a new line. And since they deleted these photos, this is on the current line, which was very inappropriate. So they deleted their, okay, who cares?
Also, this was their spring.
So they didn't have anything else. It's not like they deleted other photos that weren't relevant. They deleted everything that was relevant to what was going on. Like I was thinking that they were deleting stuff that was irrelevant to what's happening. And that's where it gets like, if they're deleting photos that weren't a part of this line, I'm like, why would they delete those? But they just do that every season. I don't know why, but I guess it's whatever is working in their business strategy.
2023 line. It hasn't even come out yet. They're not releasing some new line right now that they need to make room for. And I don't think they normally do that. They don't normally delete all of their photos before the line.
My wife's like dying laughing right now.
It just looks like they're in damage control mode and they're trying to get rid of all of this stuff while apologizing for it and kind of ignoring it at the same time.
Anyway, the company is currently under fire for their new holiday collection photo shoot. And when you see these photos, you will probably understand why. One was a little girl on a couch with a very worried, sad look on her face.
Dude, the kid, no, the kid didn't have a sad face on her look. That's how all models look.
Sad face on her look. What? I mean, the kid does kind of have a sad face on. That's how all models look. It's a child. Children shouldn't be models.
The kid didn't have a sad face on her look. That's how all models look.
This take from Denims isn't particularly egregious. It is true that models tend to give very serious looks when they are modeling, but not normally kids. Kids are normally smiling in their pictures. It's odd to have kids giving you a very serious stare down in a picture. But these kids are not doing the serious look either. One looks very terrified. The other one looks very sad.
Okay. Oh, I was just still laughing for some reason.
Also, alcohol. People literally bring their kids to fucking Applebee's and then get like 5 margaritas. Okay, come on.
Well done, Denims. You are correct. It is true.
To fucking Applebee's and then get like 5 margaritas. Okay, come on.
Well done, Denims. You are correct. It is true that some parents will take their kids to Applebee's while the parents drink alcohol. But there's no parents in this picture. There is a kid standing by themselves with a bunch of half full or empty.
Yeah, why do people like overly defend it? It's weird. Like, I don't understand. Like, you might be like, oh, I disagree with Shoe0nHead. Maybe you think she's promoting the conspiracy theory when it's not that deep. But like, it's weird how people go into like anti mode for like whatever person they're talking about because they just dislike them so much.
alcohol containers in front of them. In art, we normally use
What was my wife watching? She was listening to her mom on the phone. Her mom's telling her a funny story or something. I don't know.
objects and things to send messages that other people will understand through cultural norms. So I would like to know, what kind of message do you think it's sending? There's a bunch of containers that we would traditionally use for alcohol laid out in front of a child. In one picture, the child is standing on the couch like they just got totally wasted and now they're getting a little crazy. Normally, kids are not supposed to stand on the couch with their shoes. They're not supposed to jump around on the couch. They're getting a little rebellious, getting a little wild. And then there's another picture right after where the kid is laying down in front of all of these things like they're sleeping one off. Now, I did go to
That's just a creepy picture. What the fuck is happening there? Yeah, she looks like she's sleeping it off, I guess.
Balenciaga's website and I found a picture of the flask and it turns out it says H2O on the flask. So I'm assuming that's water that's in all of the wine glasses. So I'm assuming it's all meant to be.
I mean, I would just assume that it's like the brand of cask or whatever it's called. What do they call those things? Flask. Yeah, but whatever.
Ironic and funny, like the kid is getting drunk off of water. It just
Ah,
becomes
high
more
on
and more
life,
obvious
baby.
as we go through all of these people's reviews that none of them understand art or the messages that are being sent at all.
But anyway, to make things even worse, right on their homepage, right next to that photo shoot, was a photo of a purse on a desk. Seems normal, right? But the only visible paper sticking out from under the purse, the only piece of paper with any text on it, conveniently right there, was a court case related to child pornography. Creepy. Coincidentally, 2 days
Weird.
No, it's not creepy. No, Shoe, you're the only one who sees this. It's not creepy. I'm telling you this, like, from a place of love, okay?
Why isn't it like, it's weird? I mean, you don't have to say it's weird. Like, it's intentional that they put that there, right? I mean, that's, unless somebody, I was accidentally studying up on a pedophile case or something. No, I don't know what the case is specifically. Yeah, it's weird. It was intentional. Like, they wanted you to like find that and see it, like a Where's Waldo. And then draw some kind of conclusion out of it in some capacity. It's supposed to be thought-provoking, but I just don't understand what the thought was. I think that they were trying to be provocative again. They thought people would be like, wow, this is so artsy. Whoa, this is cool, you know?
Okay. The pictures are not creepy, okay? Also, those are from 2 different photo shoots.
We're going to hear this line a lot. They're from 2 different photo shoots. It is true that
Are they both Balenciaga?
in Shoe's original tweet, she said photo shoot, so it makes it sound like they're just from one photo shoot, but she does not say that in the video. So I don't know why Denims is mentioning that. But literally everybody who reviews this video will mention that they're from 2 different photo shoots for some reason. It doesn't make it any less creepy that they're from 2 different photo shoots. It's just not relevant whatsoever, but they are throwing out everything that they can in these reviews to just see what sticks. Let's just throw out as much bullcrap as possible. Saying it's not creepy to put stuff about child pornography in a purse ad, I feel like Denims just commonly misses the most obvious stuff on
Who the fuck is
consistent
Denims?
basis. The stuff that comes to mind right now is like, you know, Destiny playing a clip for her where she says she'll suck the meat off of his if he can prove that a guy said something, and then he plays it and she still acts dumb afterwards like she doesn't understand.
Okay, Steven, I'm
Maybe
gonna
she just want to suck his wee-wee.
tell you what, all right? I will suck the meat off your if you can get Richard Wolff to say that he didn't mean dividends when he said dividends.
There was more recently a tweet from her where she thinks it's so crazy that a guy would fall in love with a girl just because she has a big juicy booty.
Hey, listen, I mean, those hips don't lie. Was that a flip phone?
Girl just because she has a big juicy booty.
Okay.
Not me. Other guys would do that. As if like she's just never met men before. Men don't marry for lust, just like guys watch Denims for her political takes. And now here she is acting like it's perfectly normal to put stuff about child porn in your purse ad.
How is that not creepy? Any normal person looking at like this image, the only thing that they see is the purse. And the text here, by the way, is unbelievably small.
Now, I want to be clear
Okay.
here. There is a possibility.
Well, that's why it's like a little Easter egg. They want you to, they want like the most clever people to find it. You know what I mean? It's like a little silly Easter egg. But they still want you to find it. It's
that
weird.
There's somewhat of a cultural barrier. I don't know if Denims is from planet Earth, but here we have websites like 4chan and Kiwi Farms. We have groups of people who follow around a person who made a Sonichu comic and log every little bit of information about their life.
Let's
Yeah,
just do this.
I think I can expect that people will go and read the little text on a purse ad.
The worst part is that it doesn't mention the fact that Ravana had a great tweet on it. She had a great thread on it where she said, oh,
Oh,
I don't know if I'll be
beautiful.
able to find it, but if anyone can find it, please post it in chat.
Is that what she said?
Oh, this is the worst part. It's the worst part. It's Ravana, guys. Ravana. Yeah, Ravana. Of course.
I don't know who that is.
Shoe, what were you thinking? You should have put Ravana's tweet in your video. This is the worst part. I don't have anything, like, particularly against Ravana. She's just not a very
I don't know
smart
what any of these
person.
people are.
I've had her on the show before. She's not a horrible person. I've also had Denims on. I've also had Demon Mom on. I've also had
Why are you guys so mean to each other? Jesus. My goodness.
Vosh on. I'm burning all the bridges today. If you weren't one of the 4 people that I mentioned at the beginning of this video, don't you worry. You'll catch some strays eventually. But right now, we got strays heading out towards Ravana. But Ravana works for TYT. She's one of those people who will say that, like, you know,
Oh.
Kyle
young
Rittenhouse
kids.
was guilty, or Amaranth's boyfriend was trying to kill her dogs and she went live as a cry for help. She downplayed the Jesse Smollett situation.
Isn't that somewhat true? Okay. All right, here's what my wife was laughing. My mom got really sick last night and puked all over her living room, went to throw up in the kitchen sink and threw up all over the cabinets, and then went to the bathroom to throw up in the toilet. So that's why my wife was laughing like a fucking jackal, because her mom was sick. Jesus Christ. I'm assuming your mom's all right.
Like, so let's see what Ravana had to say about this, please. This is going to be the worst part, right? This is the worst part, that this tweet was not included. So I cannot wait for this completely enlightening information here.
Essentially, public court cases are not subject to the same copyright laws that everything else is. You are allowed to have public court documents or whatever in your photo shoots. Okay? Yes, exactly. Public court record cases aren't subject to copyright takedown. They probably did one of 2 things, chat. Okay? They probably just printed out a bunch of law documents. You want to know why? Because they're not copyright based. You don't have to worry about getting your shit taken down. Okay?
What?
And you want a bunch of official looking paperwork to make like the photograph like look good or whatever.
So why would they explicitly choose those? Why wouldn't they just choose like a court case about eating plastic ninja swords in action figures or something? Like, why would they specifically use that?
Okay?
Thank God for Ravana. Man, essentially the argument is you're allowed to put it there. Other things you're not allowed to put there, but this paper, you're allowed to put it there. That's why Shoe0nHead totally should have included this tweet so that people knew that this is not copywritten and you can put it in there. You're allowed. And so now it's not weird or creepy because you're allowed to do it. So I could totally sit here and say that I'm going to grab a little and I'm going to take them and I'm going to really just them and just
What the fuck?
all up in there. It's okay. It's not weird. It's not creepy. I'm allowed to say it. There are so many other things that you're allowed to put in there that are not pedo docs. I work for a company. We also need papers like this sometimes. We already have some drawn up that just have random words on them that we made ourselves.
Fun fact, articles are copyrighted materials. Court documents are not. Printing out random SCOTUS cases to have it official looking documents in photo shoots is extremely common practice. And there is another post
In
here.
fact, it would have made more sense if they like printed out like something to do with Roe v. Wade or something. It would have been more culturally relevant if they did something like that. So I wonder why they choose that one specifically.
Here's somewhere that says, I'm not defending the industry, for fuck's sake. The fashion industry is riddled with problems. I'm just saying this because I know, because my friend is a photographer who asks to use my Westlaw subscription to print SCOTUS decisions for his shoots. It's also not pedo documents. It's a case where the court made it easier to prosecute people for child porn, for the love of God.
What were we thinking?
Oh, is that the case? Is that part's true? That kind of blows the whole thing up. Was it something that makes it easier to prosecute people for CP?
It's not pedo documents. It's a case where the court made it easier to prosecute people for child porn, for the love of God.
Oh, well, that makes it a little different, no? That makes it a little better.
What were we thinking? It's not pedo papers. It has nothing to do with pedophilia. It's just child porn, that's all. So I work in
Well, I mean, listen, I don't know if that's true or not, but if that's true what they're saying, then it, like, if it was about, I don't know what, they still probably shouldn't have used it because optics-wise, it doesn't look good. But it sounds like if it was against CP, then it's okay with me. You know, I don't know. Like, kind of ended there. Like, we do CP bad, guys. You know, who would have thought? So I think that makes it a little better. No, maybe they're trying to make some kind of statement about poop. I don't fucking know. Who knows? Honestly, who fucking knows?
linguistic marketing. One of the things that I do is I write scripts for different ads, and then when I finish, I hand it off to some other people who will go through it with a fine-tooth comb. And I work for a much smaller company than Balenciaga. Balenciaga is a massive fashion designer company with tons of celebrities wearing their stuff on a consistent basis, walking around with their logo that looks like the big black logo from Robin Big. They must have tons of people
Racist.
going through this with magnifying glasses and everything. And somehow, the place that they picked happened to be the one that had the documents there, and they chose to use the documents when you can get documents from tons of different things. It doesn't just have to be Supreme Court papers. It seems like Supreme Court papers would have a higher chance of having some, like, really egregious crimes and stuff on there. But they happened to pick the place that had the Supreme Court papers and this specific Supreme Court paper, and they just so happened to use those Supreme Court papers on this day, and those are the ones that they got. And everybody just so happened to not look at the papers that they were putting in the photo shoot, and that just so happens to be the paper that is showing to where you can see the text and read what is on it and tell what it is that they're talking about. And then somebody just so happened to not look at the letters that are totally sticking out. These are all huge coincidences, but I do believe this story. I do believe that that is how they got these papers. But it's just a lot of coincidences in a row. It is very
I mean, I doubt it. It was probably intentional. But whatever, who cares? I mean, it's not
and it is crazy that
I don't think that they were doing it to try to like say that CP is good. I think that they're just trying to be provocative in whatever they're doing. So
this is how it
and if it was actually like against CP, that makes sense as to why they would choose that, because it's provocative. But it, you know, how could people disagree with it? It's saying that it's bad, you know. But hey, there's some crazies out there, I guess, and they got offended. I'm wondering if I could put these right next to each other. Come on, bro, stop. I'm upset. Fuck.
happened and nobody caught it.
Also, just so everyone knows, I am not suicidal. Just in case news comes out that I was found with 3 designer bullets in the back of my head. And I don't think Brittany Venti is either, so if either of us, we do not have information that will
Dude,
lead
not
to
associating yourself with Brittany Venti, dude. Why do people? Oh my god, it's like the constant thing that I'm so confused about. The number of times I've had
What is it? A medium? What's a large? A grande? I don't know.
disagreements with other content creators because I just want to like tell them like stop associating yourself with the weirdest people on the planet. Stop. Stop doing it. No. Who's Brenty?
Kind of feels like the political space is full of a lot of fun people. Honest.
Brittany Venti. She's like a fucking right winger, like an actual hardcore right winger.
Hardcore.
Not a right winger. It's things like these that actually make me wonder if any of these people have real friends in the real world. I don't know what most of my friends' political takes are, actually. Like, we don't sit around talking about whether or not people should own the means of production or what we should be doing about global warming. So I probably have friends that are actual right-wingers. I know people on the internet who are actual right-wingers that I talk to and associate myself with. But then I start to think of the people that Denims associates herself with on the left.
Did you hear about what happened? People walked up to Melina and said, I'm gonna get your husband's channel deleted from YouTube if he doesn't
Beautiful. Okay, so this will reach.
like did like a thing on it.
Hello, Keppel.
Who's this?
Can't wait to meet you at TwitchCon.
I don't know. Who the fuck are these people? I don't know.
Can't we just say it's a weird thing that they did and move on? Nope, not on the internet.
You're the one who won't do it. You're the one who can't even admit that something was weird about this. That's you. I don't know. Maybe she's saying she's one of the crazy people on the internet who just can't let things go. But like Shoe0nHead just talking about this and just saying it's a thing is what made it blow up. She just wanted to say it was weird and move on. It's everybody else freaking out on Twitter about this that led to her making this video. And now people like you reviewing the video the way that you do. That's why I guess 4 or 5 weeks later I'm releasing this video.
Yeah, you don't need a million different conspiracy theories. Companies can just be making stuff for outrage. Okay? They can be doing stuff purposefully.
Yeah, but if you acknowledge that, then like you should acknowledge that like this is what's gonna happen when they do stuff for outrage, right? You'd be like, oh yeah, they're just doing it for outrage, but like I get it because it's a sensitive topic. That's I guess would be my take.
For outrage. Outrage is lucrative? Exactly. Like, I feel very uncomfortable making... I think that there is absolutely no difference between the people who say Jews control the world because there are a few Jewish people that have money. And they're like, but look at this. And wasn't it weird that these guys met up here? And wasn't this weird? I see no difference between that and this. No difference. You are taking some amount of information that is not conclusive and you are jumping to assumption. When you don't have the information on this, you don't have that. You're just assuming something completely, you know? And it's super frustrating.
Denims sees no difference between somebody pointing out.
Very interesting hill to die on, I'll say that. Like it's like it is an interesting hill for people to die on that. Like that, I don't know, man. Like the hardcore Balenciaga, whatever it's called, defense stuff. It's like a little weird. People are bizarre, man. Politics is interesting. I'll tell you that much.
That there is a bear wearing BDSM gear, and there is a paper referencing child pornography. She sees no difference between that and Jewish cabal conspiracy theories. And you can go back and watch the VOD. She wasn't responding to chatters who were pushing conspiracy theories. At no point has Shoe0nHead pushed any conspiracy theory whatsoever in this video. It's possible she's done it in the past somewhere, I don't know, but I know she has not done it here. I don't really watch Shoe0nHead stuff. She's kind of dumb. She's not a very smart person. I believe
that's
she
mean.
Debated Hunter Avalon a while back, saying that like it's good to advocate for violence against people if they're rich.
What, we're gonna fucking rise up and kill the rich people?
There are people that, yes, there are people that unironically believe this. Absolutely, yes, you know this, Shoe.
Okay,
I
that's
believe
a bad
it.
thing to you?
Okay, so you're
Yeah,
doing it though.
eat the rich.
You're proving my point.
Okay.
No,
I'm
you're
just
proving
saying.
my point right now because now I thought it was just a meme.
Eat the rich.
It is a meme.
However, you're actually kind of okay with it.
Pretty
You've
cool.
memed yourself into the radical position, Shoe.
I'm just saying, if we all took a guillotine all together, the left and right held hands, and wheeled a guillotine to Jeff Bezos' mansion, I'm just saying it would be kind of cool.
But yeah, she
That's a little bit based, no? Wait, I can't get my fucking thing here. I'm supposed to be able to get something right here, but it won't work anymore because this fucking building got larger in size. Doesn't matter. I'm not angry. That's just the way the world works sometimes, guys. It's sometimes the way the world works.
Shoe0nHead did not say anything conspiratorial, and Denims is not responding to anything conspiratorial. Denims had just finished her required 2-minute speech about how Nestle is bad. I believe leftists have to do 6 of those a stream in order to stay out of the gulags. The only reason they mention Nestle in the first place is because they just don't understand things very well. She says she went to business school. Moving on. There is no conspiracy theory here. Shoe0nHead has not pushed any conspiracy theory, and that is what Denims is responding to right now. Okay, Google, lights on. Okay, Google, left light off.
Left lamp, the Hawk's light, and the Joker light are on.
Left light off.
Got it. Turning the left lamp off.
What was I saying? There's no conspiracy theory here. Nobody's pushed the conspiracy theory. Nothing that Shoe0nHead has said is conspiratorial. Not only that, but she has actually literally said that she doesn't believe in the conspiracy theories in this video.
I don't know if that makes sense, chat.
Oh yeah.
So fellow
I think I watched that, so if she doesn't believe the conspiracy theory, who cares? Then if she's actively saying I don't believe the conspiracy theory, then she's kind of signaling people that she thinks it's not true. If you read between the lines hard enough.
paranoid schizophrenic started digging and found more creepy things in the photos from Balenciaga. And this has spiraled into a much bigger conspiracy. This is the thing with conspiracies, though. They're always rabbit holes. When there's so many things that are unexplained about the world, and people just kind of feel helpless and powerless, people understandably start to look for answers elsewhere. And a lot of people took this Balenciaga thing as just kind of the rich and powerful doing what they do in secret, now out in the open. Do I think this is some kind of Pizzagate thing where Balenciaga's like hiding children in their basement? Do I think they are literally trafficking children?
Yes,
I do.
that.
I
Oh,
don't know
no,
that.
just
I've
kidding.
never claimed to know that. What I do know is that this is a huge up from a billion-dollar company. And when a billion-dollar company up,
I completely disagree. It's not a fuck up on their end. From their perspective, they're making a fuck ton of money off of all of the extra traction that they've gotten.
Well, I think that from their perspective, they thought they were going to make a bunch of money off the traction, but it didn't really pan out that way.
This is like a very successful campaign for them. If their goal was to do outrage bait, which obviously I wish I could talk to the shareholders and the people who made these decisions.
Yeah,
I would argue that most of them would say
list.
that this was a huge success. I hate when I fuck up and accidentally
Probably not, or else they wouldn't have deleted it. But hey.
increase my stock value. I don't know. I'm of the belief that like money is a good enough reason for people to be complete pieces of garbage. Like that money is enough of like a motivator for people to become scum that you don't need.
It is a motivator. You shouldn't justify it though. But okay.
Need any other pedo shit to do any of that other stuff.
I love the way she completely just breezes right by everything that Shoe0nHead just said and then continues to argue against conspiracy theories. And then she just moves on to another untrue argument, which is that shareholders are happy with this. Balenciaga is owned by a $15 billion conglomerate named Kering. Kering owns a bunch of other fashion brands like Gucci, Saint Laurent, Bottega Veneta, as well as others. And Kering has shareholders, which means that there is a fiduciary responsibility not to lose.
What does that word even mean, bro? Use normal person person words.
Them money. So when
Fiduciary?
this entire thing came out, they decided to sue the photographer who did the line. As it turns out, the photographer didn't make
involving trust, especially with regard to the relationship between trustee and a benefactor. Okay, or beneficiary.
any of those decisions. He had already done a line where he was taking pictures of kids with a bunch of stuff laid out in front of them, like toys. Balenciaga liked what it was he was doing, so they wanted to use their brand.
They liked this? It comes off as weird in general, but hey, listen, I'm not artsy fartsy.
Insert it into this style of photography. So they got that photographer to do it, but that photographer didn't choose what was in the pictures, what the kids were wearing, what the bears were wearing. So the lawsuit was retracted pretty much the next day. And since then, Kering stocks have been dropping. Balenciaga has put out multiple statements apologizing, and even if you go look at their Instagram now, there are things on there which is just an apology explaining that they screwed up, and that's all that's going to be there for a while because they're not ready to come out with a new line. As explained earlier, this is their spring 2023 line. They're still doing fashion shows and stuff on this. There have been fashion awards.
Well, so that makes sense as to why they deleted everything, because they're trying to distance themselves from it and apologize for it. So if they left it up, then it would have made the apology look disingenuous. So
that have been taken away from Balenciaga over this scandal. Kim Kardashian, their largest influencer representing their brand, has said that she's reconsidering their relationship. And news outlets all across the board have been condemning Balenciaga and this photo shoot. And I'm not just talking about Fox News or right-wing outlets. I'm talking about everybody.
Everybody.
Also, Goosey, thank you so much for the 5 gifts, subbies.
No,
Oh, thank
that's
you.
me, no problem, bro.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I gotta disagree a bit. There are people who rep Balenciaga who publicly won't anymore. The reality is that right now, Balenciaga might be a brand risk for very big actors and like actresses. However, once everybody forgets about this, just like they forget about everything, just like Nike.
This is another just very poorly thought out take.
You know what else I heard? Apparently, during like the whole BLM thing, there was an athlete. I don't remember their name. I saw a TikTok on it, but I don't have a dad, so I don't know sports. There's an athlete who, during the whole BLM thing where you were like encouraged to like wear BLM merch and you know stuff like that, he wore like a free Tibet shoe, and China like wouldn't play any of like the soccer games or whatever in their country because you know China's an oppressive shithole, and they told him he had to stop wearing it or they couldn't like they had to take him off the TV. And it's like, wow, so we're gonna advocate for freedom for Black people, which is good, and like you know end to systemic racism or the historical impacts of it, but you can't speak on like free Tibet or you know anything like that. Incredible stuff. And then anyone put something that said free the Uyghur Muslims. And they got pissed at him again. Fuck you, China. People are good. The food's good. The government is poops.
From denims here. Somebody who works for Balenciaga worked really hard on getting celebrities to wear their stuff out in public. And this has been like a huge thing for Balenciaga to see huge celebrities and influencers regularly out in public on TMZ, on the tabloids, wearing their stuff. So yes, maybe in the long run, people will forget about this. It'll fade away. They apologized, so it's not that big of a deal anymore. All of that work that's been put into this, building relationships, networking with large celebrities, a lot of that work is damaged now, and I don't think that the small amount of brand recognition that they get from negative publicity is worth throwing all of that work into the garbage. I think we've already spent a long time on denims. We have other people to get to, so I'm just going to run through the last couple timestamps that I have on this stream.
Most of the people who follow me are left-wing, and they agreed that, yeah, this photo shoot was really weird. The people who are mad about this are from a pretty small bubble, but nevertheless, lo and behold, I was apparently canceled. Now, I use the term canceled sort of sarcastically because I really wasn't canceled. It's kind of impossible to cancel me in general because I have 4 different fan bases and they all hate each other and me. And a lot of you guys watching this probably didn't even know all of this happened, but it was just very weird and I need to talk about this. Shoe0nHead on her way to once again use her massive platform to provide the neo-Nazis in her audience with fodder they can use to justify the murder of gay people.
I think this is actually very accurate. I think this is a tweet that kind of blew up, and I think that is very accurate. I think she genuinely believes that like it's sus that a company would do like a punk shoot or something.
Oh yeah, Denims, you right. Yeah, that's what Shoe0nHead was complaining about, was putting punk in the photo shoot. She thinks that's super sus. Yeah, you right.
Super
Again,
sus.
when you're making art, you are putting in references to send some type of message. So when we look at this photographer's line and we see all of the things that people are laying out in front of them, we are told a story about them and their lives. And so in these photographs where we put alcohol containers, bears wearing clothes that the rest of us associate with BDSM, and it doesn't matter if you think they are actually...
Maybe they were just teasing the newest Loungefly line, and now Loungefly's like, oops, good thing we didn't go with that. But we collect Loungeflies in this house, guys.
BDSM clothes. It's not relevant.
It's not for me, it's
what
for my
matters
wife.
is that when most people look at this, they see something that looks like BDSM.
Which is very sad, you know?
The day after another anti-gay terror attack. I'm sorry. Where are the gays? My post had absolutely nothing to do with LGBT.
Read the tweet, too. She didn't read it. No. No. That's not what they said. They didn't say that you yourself are bringing up gay people. She didn't say that. This person didn't say that you are asking for gay people to be shit on or whatever. The person tweeting this said, you did this thing knowingly when you know that conservatives will take this and they will use it as an opportunity to put pedophiles in the same group as gay people and find a reason to like dehumanize gay people more.
Let's talk about the Xander Hall tweet,
much.
since she's the one that we're moving on to next. When Shoe0nHead first made her original tweet, people like Xander Hall went ahead and quote tweeted her, complaining that she is giving fuel to right-wingers to complain about gay people, and it's right after it.
I don't need any fuel to complain about gay people, guys. I can complain about them enough by themselves. Based.
An anti-gay terrorist attack. I can't help but notice that in Xander Hall's picture, there's a blue sky. I feel like he's trying to dog whistle to all of the anti-Semites that Jewish people are pumping blue chemicals into our air to feminize our men.
I never thought about it like that.
To some
That's a
degree
good
that
point.
you need to be responsible with what it is that you're saying. So if you're consistently talking about 1350, that black people, 13% of the United States, commit 50% of violent crimes, I think
Damn.
it's probably good to have some sort of caveat there that says, I don't believe that black people are bad or that we need an ethno-state or anything like that. But I also wonder, how far do we take this? If just mentioning that something pedophilic is in a major brand's ad campaign is automatically fuel for homophobic people to start talking about the gays putting pro-pedophile imagery into our zeitgeist once again, then do we also start saying that maybe trans people shouldn't be openly trans because this is also going to fuel that fire? Or that gay people shouldn't be openly gay because that's also going to fuel that fire?
Well, I think that they would argue that those people are actually living a truth, whereas versus somebody constantly leveraging particular criticism against the community, I guess. But okay. I guess.
Of course
I feel like a lot of this is just overthinking, but
what we would say is if you have a bunch of quote tweets and retweets and comments from people saying very hateful things and using the information that you put out to spread conspiracy theories, I think we would say that you should put out a comment that pushes back against these people so that they understand that that is not the reason that you put the information out. More than just acknowledging the truth of the matter that these things were in the Balenciaga campaigns, what probably fuels this even more is a bunch of leftists downplaying it and pretending like it didn't happen or it's not that big of a deal whatsoever. All of a sudden, they don't know what BDSM is. They think that because the Supreme Court ruling was against child pornography, this changes everything. Like,
I think it changes it. It does change it, yes. I mean, let's be real here. If it's actively against, if it's a message that's I don't know, boosting something that says, hey, CP's bad, then like, yeah, I think it does contextually change it a bit. You can still say it's inappropriate, but, you know, it does change things.
everyone thought it was the Supreme Court ruling that was legalizing child pornography. They just make the worst arguments possible, showing their hand that they are doing their best to justify that.
I don't think that most people knew what the document was about. I think that a lot of people, probably conservatives, threw out there and said, like, this thing happened, but they didn't explain the context, probably intentionally. So maybe that's where people are coming from with it. Because I didn't know about it. I just figured it was like some kind of dumb fucking artistic choice to try to make it seem like they were super intelligent, like, you know, whatever idiots. I didn't realize that it was actually like a case that was ruled against it. So
this ad campaign.
Why don't you focus on what I said and did? Is it because I said and did nothing wrong? I mean this with the most—
Oh, no. Shoo, no. Someone in chat said that she addressed it, but she didn't address it.
Do I think they are literally trafficking children? I don't think that. I don't know that. I've never claimed to know that.
And the rest of Denim's covering this is literally her just continuing to pretend that Shoe0nHead is pushing a conspiracy theory and continuing to act like she never addressed the fact that she's not pushing a conspiracy theory. So we're going to move on to Xander Hall. Xander Hall is a left-wing content creator that lots of people have called a Vosh clone or something like that. He does and says really stupid stuff on a regular basis, and most of the time we make excuses for him because he's—
I think everybody that says something slightly progressive is considered a Vosh clone in that sphere. Like, it doesn't really matter what you say. Oh, this is just like Vosh. Because he's a pretty popular character from the hit video game Among Us, political Among Us.
He's very young, but they don't start happening less and less the older that he gets, and so people just kind of have stopped making those excuses for him. And this coverage of Shoe0nHead's video is no exception. Now, please just bear with me. We are going to go over some Xander Hall clips. I know he is so hard to watch. The way that he talks is just insanely pompous, and the long pauses that he adds in are just excruciating. Like, the cringe physically hurts. But please don't go anywhere. Watch. I'm not going to cut out all of the silence of him sitting there being weird, mainly because I'm a dick. So grab your stress balls, squeeze them tight. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna get through this together.
Regular balls and squeeze them tight.
Our old friend Shoe0nHeads, who I recently called out for some problematic behavior. And that is...
It would be so cool if he added that in his own video. That's kind of funny. I like that.
Is her constant, signaling to the far right.
Constant
What I mean by that is, Shoe0nHead has a massive Nazi audience. I'm not just talking about normal conservatives and centrist right-leaning people, but like Nazis, like full-on neo-Nazis. Shoe0nHead has a lot of them in her audience.
I cannot
and it's
see.
not just in her audience. Shoe0nHead loves hanging out with Nazis.
Oh shit! Like
she
who?
really, really does. Shoe0nHead
Who?
loves the company of neo-Nazis.
Who?
Okay, she loves their aesthetics,
Like
lots
who?
of their beliefs, and probably doesn't disagree with a lot of their worldviews. Well, she kind of started a whole new conspiracy on Twitter. Well, not started, but popularized among the massive amount of right-wingers on Twitter that follow her and basically use her feed as a source of propaganda info, popularized a new conspiracy theory. A conspiracy theory that Balenciaga is a pedophilic corporation that is sneaking pro-pedo imagery in their media to signal some message to other pedos or something. It's literally like the New World Order, the Illuminati put the thing on the dollar bills, so like we all so the super sleuths online know about it, but the normies don't know because they want it. Like, yeah, it's literally not it's just conspiracy shit.
So you can already see what this kind of review is going to be like. Shoe0nHead has lots of Nazis in her audience. She loves Nazis. She agrees with their beliefs. She agrees with their world.
Does she like hang out with Nick Fuentes or something? Like, who's the Nazi that she's constantly hanging out with? I'm just curious.
Do you know what we call people like that? We call them Nazis. So he's trying to call Shoe0nHead a Nazi without calling her a Nazi. Which again, I don't agree with Shoe0nHead on a lot of her political beliefs, but I would never call her a Nazi. She's definitely on the left. But then he goes on to say that she popularized a conspiracy theory, which again, she didn't push any conspiracy theories, but he goes on to describe some conspiracy theory that I have not seen her push anywhere, and nor does he pull up the evidence of her pushing this either. Let's go ahead and backtrack a little bit, because this is his response to her video. He had already done a whole video just responding to her tweet.
Here we go. Shoe0nHead brought this to the attention of conservative Twitter. Here are the articles coming out about it. The American conservative, Balenciaga and the Pedo Bear. Fashion house indulges in sick pedophile imagery and ad campaign. And of course, what do you think is going on here? Shoe's tweet, literally, thank you, Shoe. And then we all know that polyamory and pedophilia, that's right, polyamory and pedophilia, they view these on the same level, are the next barriers to fall.
I agree. I guess that's because open relationship type stuff is becoming very prevalent nowadays, which is most people aren't really in open relationships. I think a lot of people are just like they have daddy issues, so they don't want to leave the person that they're with, and they just aren't mature enough to be in a relationship yet, and they're just like, no, I'd rather be open. Most people can't handle it. It's not really something I think people should be trying to handle. Just you don't have to date. Just chill. Just fuck around or something. Relax a little bit.
Nearly there with polyamory. Our elites are pushing the boundaries on pedophilia. I don't know what's going to be scarier. That the backlash when it comes might make the backlash to Weimar look like child's play.
Oh, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, bro. Did I pause the video?
That was the Nazis taking over. That's the backlash they're referring to in Weimar Germany was backlash. They mean the Nazis taking over.
Yeah, Xander Hall, it's actually, the rest of us know this. It's super weird to compare everything to Weimar Germany or Nazis. But here he is. Again, conservatives said some crazy stuff. this is Shoe0nHead's fault. I would assume he's also very pissed off with whoever it was that came out with the Epstein story. I'm sure he was freaking out about how that was such irresponsible journalism to let everybody know something that was actually happening, because it fueled the fire of the far right. And everything that we do should be dictated on how the far right is going to react to it. So that was the first video that he put out on this subject, and it's titled Why I'm Burning the Shoe0nHead Bridge. And his overall argument throughout this is he wishes she would be more responsible with the way she puts these things out. And if that was his entire...
Do you think that she cares if he burnt the bridge? I'm just curious. Do you think that she's like, oh, fuck, not Xander Hall, you know? Just curious. Not trying to be mean or anything. Just wondering.
Her argument, I would actually be okay with this. If all you said is, it's not what you did, it's what you didn't do. It's not that you recognized something that's obviously true. It's that you didn't put a caveat right after that. That would all be great. That would all be fine. But that's obviously not what he did. He even says in the video that he knows that all of these Nazi relationships are nothing new, that the way that she handles her platform is nothing new, that he's known all of these things the entire time they were friends.
And her...
Oh, so then doesn't that say something bad about you if you think that she's actually a Nazi? And you're still friends with her? It's kind of weird. Kind of a self-report there, huh?
Getting backlash for it really arguably started with me calling her out, which was a pretty big deal in the lefty sphere, considering that me and Shoe0nHead have been friends for a fair amount of time now. The reason why I called Shoe0nHead out, and what I called her out for, was a repeated behavior that just, at this point, was not showing any signs of slowing down, and certainly not of ever stopping, despite the fact that she'd already, like, kind of realized... She should have already realized, like, what consequences her behavior was having, and she should have already adapted her behavior by that point.
And then he goes on to criticize her for the people that she's friends with and the people that she hangs out with. But at no point is he taking responsibility for platforming her or for being friendly with her. It's all just very hypocritical, and it's just a big virtue signal to say, hey, everybody, look at me, I'm one of the good ones. Which is like his entire career is just one big virtue signal. So when he admits this is nothing new, he admits that this is the way it's always been, and he condemns her for hanging out with people who are like her. It's exactly what we've seen 1,000 times with big content creators, where you get to be friends with them for just long enough to leech all of the clout off of them, and then at the first chance you get, you burn that bridge to bring back all of the people who were upset with you for being nice to them in the first place. You get the clout, you get to pull some of their viewers over, and you also get to call them a Nazi for the virtue signal. When she hasn't changed any of her positions, as he said, she's always been doing this stuff, so she didn't change. This is nothing new. There's absolutely no new information here for Xander Hall. So he just decided to do this out of nowhere. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting how that plays out, eh?
Well, she kind of started a whole new conspiracy on Twitter, you know? Well, not started, but popularized among the massive amount of right-wingers on Twitter that follow her and basically use her feed as a source of propaganda info.
Shoe0nHead did not popularize a conspiracy theory. As we've already been over, she never pushed the conspiracy theory whatsoever. She put out true statements.
Well, again, like I think that the only thing, like the reasonable criticism is like maybe she should have told people what the article was about, because even I still did. I mean, it's this whole thing was overblown into oblivion, so I don't really care that much, but you know, it would have been good for her to say, like, yeah, it was a bill that was against CP. That for context, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, that's a good thing. You know, that's good that they didn't use a pro CP thing. You know, because I feel like most people didn't know. They just thought that it was like about, like, in defense of or something. I guarantee that people thought that. And so, like, that could have been more responsible. And that's it. You know, not that big of a deal. We can all move on.
Some people took those true statements and turned them into false statements. You are also taking her true
I don't have a Balloon CD creator code. I didn't even know that was a thing.
And I debate the far right on a consistent basis, so I can tell you, again, they are less likely to take some information from some leftists that they disagree with and say, hey, look, this person that we don't agree with and this person that we don't trust for information said something that we actually agree with. That is less likely to happen. What's more likely to happen is to show a bunch of leftists so adamantly pushing back against Shoe0nHead's tweet, which was so innocent in the first place.
The person I quote tweeted that started all of this was a guy named Pedro L. Gonzalez, who, as you can see in this post made by Hey It's Vadim, Shoe0nHead and this Pedro Gonzalez guy are like actual friends. Oh, here's an interesting one. Why are you as a father so obsessed with the concerning growing normalization of pedophilia? Do you guys really think there's actually a growing normalization of pedophilia? In like
maybe a little bit. There's more and more I'm gonna lose this one. Damn, I just fucking nay-nayed myself so hard. That was such an easy one too. Maybe honestly, there's probably a little bit of I guess you'd say a normalization of it, in the sense of people are advocating for more resources for, you know, people, well, pedophiles, to be able to get before they offend, which makes perfect sense. But that's going to have like the unfortunate, I guess, you know, it makes people uncomfortable talking about being empathetic towards somebody, a pedophile. So I get that. But I would say overall it's going to have a positive impact because then they won't molest kids if they're able to get resources to help them. So like, yeah, I guess you could argue that. You could make a reasonable argument.
Like Western society, outside of conservative spaces that want to lower the age of consent so that like old men can marry 13-year-old girls, do you think outside of conservative spaces there is a growing normalization of pedophilia? There is not. This is conspiracy brain, that alone. Here's her shitting on a lefty and a Nazi agreeing. And then it goes even further as well. Here's him saying transgender ideology is quite literally a crime against humanity. They're good friends. Like they're actually, they have combos and stuff. These are not just strangers or like, we're Twitter moots or whatever. There's another screenshot where she thanks him for talking about a particular topic on Tucker Carlson. He went on Tucker. Oh yeah, here we go. Important note, the exchanges I posted are far from the only convos. Are they besties? I don't fucking know, lol. However, I definitely think it should be noted that Shoe totally influenced his talking points of Tucker Carlson one time. So yeah, he went on Tucker Carlson. Now, you're probably asking, what is this guy's relevance? Well, the tweet that I quote tweeted that started this was him quote tweeting her tweet, her Balenciaga tweet, and saying it's time to roll out the wood chippers for the groomers. What do you think this person means when they say groomer? And what do you think Shoe0nHead fucking knows this person means when they say groomer?
Probably like a hairstylist, maybe? Probably who they're talking. They're probably talking about that, you know? So
yes, I'm not fucking stupid, or at least not as stupid as Shoe0nHead fans, or at least as stupid as Shoe0nHead wants her fans to be. I'm not dumb. I can read, or I can think, I can put two and two together, all right? There's a very clear pattern happening here.
This is actually like the same exact level of evidence that Nazis require of their thought leaders. Well, what do you think they mean? Exactly. This is dumb. You are stupid. This is a really stupid line of logic here. And especially adding in, oh, she influenced some talking points on Tucker Carlson. Oh no, not talking points. Not talking points on Tucker Carlson. When that is bad, I don't know anymore. I don't know what's happening. There are a bunch of right-wingers out there who actually...
Well, Tucker is like abysmal dog shit, right? And he's consistently lying and putting out like some of the dumbest fucking things. My mother-in-law and her husband watch Tucker, and it's really sad to see the state of the average American be so wildly fucking ignorant, you know? I believe he is like the number. I think they've done a study, and he's like the #1 least honest person. He's constantly pushing different information, different misinformation. So
they do conflate grooming with being LGBTQ, but it's definitely not as common as the left makes it seem. There's a left-wing propaganda outlet out with being LGBT. I don't know what's happening. There are a bunch of right-wingers out there who actually do conflate grooming with being LGBTQ.
Yeah, that's pretty. It's the narrative is getting a little bit intense. It's not really that small. You know, when they talk about like a lot of, it does happen. I don't think it's that small. You kind of see it a little bit. Okay.
But it's definitely not as common as the left makes it seem. There's a left-wing propaganda outlet out there called Media Matters. It's pretty much...
Well, I just looked up Tucker Carlson, and Tucker Carlson blames... it's a guest. Okay. Maybe this is irrelevant.
LGBTQ sleuth. You know, saying that groomer is an anti-LGBTQ slur, that is doing irreparable damage to us as a whole, and is putting a really large target on our backs. And unfortunately, you know, the tragedy that happened in Colorado Springs the other night, you know, it was expected and predictable. We all, within Gays Against Groomers, saw this coming from a mile away. Yeah. And sadly, I don't think it's going to stop until we end this evil agenda.
Okay.
It's the left-wing version of Project Veritas. And a lot of these thoughts start with them. Media Matters consistently conflates being LGBTQ with being a groomer or a cross-dresser or a drag queen. They recently posted a stat where they talk about how since Elon Musk took over Twitter,
Gone down a rabbit hole. What is this?
So the most, unfortunately, you're seeing that. So the most obvious question is, why did Anderson Lee Aldrich shoot 30 people? And the truth is, we don't know. We do know he was clearly a troubled person. Last summer, he threatened to blow up his mother's house with a bomb.
Was this the guy that shot up like the...
Unfortunately, you're seeing that. So the most obvious question is, why did Anderson Lee Aldrich shoot 30 people? And the truth is, we don't know. We do know he was clearly a troubled person.
That's the person who shot Club Q. I mean, that's just a weird thing to say. We do know. It's because he was homophobic. I mean, Club Q was a gay club, right? So it was because he hated gay people. Very basic. If I walked into a church full of conservatives and shot them all, probably would be because I don't like conservatives. Or churches, but you get my point. But okay, whatever.
The LGBTQ posts have been growing. They list off people like Blair White, Tim Pool, and if you go and actually look at the posts that they're talking about, a lot of them have absolutely nothing to do with LGBTQ. They just conflate LGBTQ with grooming. It is possible that some of these people are actually just dog whistling about the LGBTQ by saying words like groomer, but I don't think that's most of them, especially people like Tim Pool and Blair White. I don't think that's what they're doing. They can still be disgusting people without you having to make up positions for them to take. And drag queens are not part of the LGBTQ. There are definitely tons of...
Well, they are. They literally are drag queens. Nothing wrong with drag queens. I think it's inappropriate to bring your kid to a drag show, but I will say nobody cares about beauty pageants, and the fact is that people who do drag, gay, well, it's usually gay dudes, they're usually honoring, like, a famous musician most of the time, and now that female musicians have gone very sexual, that's kind of the problem. And now we're just normalizing sexualization in society in general. We're just now kind of uncomfortable because it's young boys that are getting sexualized instead of young girls. And society should probably try to care a bit more about that. So people kind of have like a disproportionate energy. Wow, am I going to lose this again? I'm actually sad, crying and shitting, coming and farting.
People who do drag who are part of the LGBTQ, but drag in and of itself, there isn't a D in LGBTQ because drag is not a sexuality. It's not necessarily a sexual thing. And for that, I will allow my buddy Hunter Avalone to explain.
Drag does not typically involve nudity or stripping, which are more common in burlesque.
Burlesque? Whatever. Hey, let's not get words wrong all the time. So.
Burlesque, a separate form of entertainment. Explicitly sexual and profane language is common in performances meant for adult audiences. So no, drag does not typically involve nudity or stripping.
So yeah, drag is not necessarily sexual. Burlesque is kind of the sexual version of drag. And burlesque is almost always going to be sexual. But again, we see lots of examples in right-wing media of actual drag events with children there that are sexual. We can see them dancing provocatively, taking clothes off.
Yeah, I would say that the biggest issue, parents shouldn't really be taking you to those things, so yeah, that's where my issues with
dancing on tables where children can see up their skirts.
There are straight drag queens. I understand that, but it's mostly there aren't, right? Most of them aren't.
Lefties will still defend these things for some reason. You don't have to be against drag in order to say that you don't want these sexual things around children. But I will say most of the time, right-wingers are saying that there's something happening at a drag event. Nothing bad happened. There's nothing nefarious going on. There's nothing sexual going on. And all of their heads explode anyways because they're using words like groomer incorrectly to say that children are being groomed into being trans or gay or something like that, when that's not what the word groomer is generally used to mean. Normally, we're talking about sexual things around children over long periods of time so that eventually they will engage in sexual actions with you. That is not what happens at a drag event where they see a drag person do something sexual for 30 seconds and then they never see that drag queen.
Do you mean a dragon?
So let's talk about the way that both the left and the right...
Yeah, we would call that like conditioning. Same way where like beauty pageants don't really groom people. They condition like young kids though to be like weird and fucking sexual. It's inappropriate as fuck. Sure.
Use labels. Both the left and the right use labels to stigmatize their political enemies. But the left has been much more effective at this strategy. They have words like homophobe, transphobe, xenophobe. The labels have been stigmatized so much so that...
Well, yeah, but those things are bad, right? What are we talking about
just
here?
One of these labels being placed on you can ruin your entire life. And this is a really good thing, and we've seen a lot of progress through this strategy. Trans rights and gay rights, we have made legislative and cultural changes at unprecedented rates. But then eventually we got to a point where the left just started throwing these labels at anybody they don't like. If we're going to stigmatize these labels as much as we have, we need to be very responsible in the way that we use them. You can ruin somebody's life just by calling them a homophobe on Twitter. They can lose their job, they can lose their friends, and we can argue if those things are an overreaction, but those things are good if we want to stigmatize homophobia and transphobia. So the right...
Well, we should want to, but you shouldn't ruin somebody's life for being a homophobe or transphobic unless they're like hurting trans people or gay people, you know?
decided to use the same exact strategy where they start taking labels that are already stigmatized and just throw them at people on the left. Words like groomer and pedophile. And each side is using these labels incredibly irresponsible.
Well, there are some conservatives, a good amount, well, not a good amount, but there are conservatives who will effectively say that, like, they'll call everything grooming. Like, everything is fucking grooming. They'll call everything pedophilia, too. I mean, you know, look at some, I know it's a little intense, but like this Place Rules movie with Andrew Callahan was pretty intense. So, you know, there's a good amount of people that just misusing the words. It's not just progressive individuals.
Responsibly. The problem isn't that we shouldn't be using the labels at all. The problem is that we should have a required amount of evidence before we feel comfortable applying the label to somebody and possibly drowning them in harassment and insane amounts of hate. So if somebody on the right starts saying that this person is Jewish, therefore you should just go ahead and assume that their intentions are nefarious. The left does the same thing with the right, where they say this is a conservative, therefore their intentions are definitely nefarious. And we can talk.
Well, people on the right and left do the same thing. Just to, like, people on the right to say that just about people on the left, like, they'll just go back and forth and say that they're bad people. You don't have to really bring it to Jewish people. Both groups do it to each other in, like, both directions. They'll just say, like, oh, if you're right wing, you're bad, and if you're left wing, you're bad. So
talk about how big of a difference there is between one outcome and the other, but right now I'm only discussing how these things are incorrect logically speaking. Now, different people might have different levels of evidence that they require for these sorts of things, but Media Matters should not be meeting the required level of evidence for anybody. So yes, people can talk about drag queens as a way to talk about the LGBTQ.
Dragon queens.
But we can't just say because that's a possibility, now that is what's happening. If this is enough evidence for you to believe that Tim Pool is a transphobe, then there should be more than enough evidence for you to believe that there's a Jewish cabal controlling the world. So we're going to break this down real quick. Right-wingers are incorrect when they say things like, these people did something sexual around minors, therefore they are now groomers. But if you go to any website that's explaining what grooming is, desensitizing children to sexual imagery is always one of those things. So if you do see children around something sexual, these are signs of grooming, but it is not grooming in and of itself.
I guess. I feel like you're leaning a little hard into the groomer conspiracy narrative here now, but okay.
A guy can't run up to a little girl in a parking lot, open up his trench coat and flash the little girl and then run off, and then we just call this grooming. The little kid has not now been groomed. But if parents...
You realize that you're calling, like, drag shows on a similar level as grooming in this case? I mean, listen, I don't think kids would be going to drag. I'm just saying, but, like, I mean, that's the parents' fault. Don't take your kids to drag. I don't think that drag queens are trying to expose kids to sexualization. I think that a lot of people who do drag think that they're like, I'm confident, and they're probably thinking, like, when I was a kid, I was confident doing this, or I wanted to be able to be confident doing this or something, and now I'm seeing other young kids, and maybe they'll want to do this if there's, like, a little gay boy or something. I don't fucking know. But, you know, conservatives call all drag grooming. At least some conservatives do. So I think that's a little bit of the problem, but okay.
Are regularly taking their kids to shows where sexual imagery is being shown. These are signs of grooming. But the parents have not now groomed the child. So the right-wingers get this stuff wrong regularly. But then when you turn around and you see a bunch of lefties defending parents exposing their children to sexual imagery, and if they are defending this on a regular basis, these people would sound like groomers. That does not make them groomers, but they are defending grooming-like actions and signs of grooming. Things that should be signs of grooming, they seem to defend them. I just can't blame somebody who sees leftists on a consistent basis on Twitter defending things that are pedophilic, and then they come to the conclusion that these people want to normalize pedophilia. This is, again, a very small group of people, and so I'm not going to dwell on this too much. And this is something that a bunch of these guys bring up as well, is that attacking a bunch of pedophiles is not helpful on the internet.
She proceeded to, like, sort of imply that me, Hunter Avalone, ContraPoints, and the Surfs are pedophiles because we unfollowed her over... I guess we all unfollowed her over similar things. In reality, we probably all unfollowed her because Shoe0nHead has a tendency to try to turn, like, pedo hunting into some sort of fun ARG internet game that she and her fans do together. And it's like, hey, guys, let's go hunt pedos together. It's like an ARG. Let's go have... Isn't this fun, guys?
What the fuck is an ARG?
Nothing that she said looked like she was calling you guys pedophiles. She has an idea that you guys want to normalize pedophilia, not that you are pedophiles. And it does seem like you guys are overly defensive about this subject, going so far as to say some things that are incorrect.
Like
she
what?
is also saying things that are incorrect.
Well, what is the thing that they're saying that's incorrect? I'm curious.
incorrect because she's overly obsessed with things like pedo hunting. But all of this stuff where you're treating her like a conspiracy theorist or acting like she pushed a conspiracy theory or started a conspiracy theory, all of these things are just blatantly incorrect.
The thing I disagreed with Hunter on was the fact that he was like, we should destigmatize pedophilia. That I don't agree with. Society does not need to destigmatize pedophilia for them to be helped and to prevent them. We don't need to do that. That's
Oh, okay. I understand what she's saying. Like, yeah, I understand what you're saying. I mean, I guess you would have to, so to some extent, destigmatize pedophilia to get them to mental health professionals. But now, well, you know, if you look at the literal definition, it's to remove or shame or disgrace. I don't think that we should really remove the shame or disgrace. You should feel ashamed of being a pedophile, even though you didn't choose to be one. But you should also be given resources to get help. So yeah, we shouldn't destigmatize that action. Yeah. Okay. I get what she's saying. All right.
normalizing.
So now it's time for me to piss literally everybody off. If you thought that I was placating to the right, it's all good. They're all about to be super pissed off right now. Is there a group of people that is advocating for normalizing pedophilia? Yes, very small group of people. Then there's another group of people who advocate for destigmatizing pedophilia. There is a difference between destigmatizing and normalizing, and we can talk about that sometime. But this is the wrong way to word it. And I've even made this mistake before by saying that we should destigmatize pedophilia. We don't want to destigmatize pedophilia. We do want to destigmatize non-offending pedophiles. These people should be able to live in the world if they have done nothing wrong and go about their lives without worrying about getting attacked all the time. And it's probably better to have some people open about what their predilections are so that the rest of us can keep a close eye on them. There are pedophiles out there who want help and want to do better. When I say pedophile, I mean somebody who is attracted to prepubescent children. Not like what Xander Hall just said, where they want to marry a 13-year-old. We're talking about prepubescent children. So destigmatizing a non-offending pedophile would be a good thing. Destigmatizing pedophilia or normalizing pedophilia, those would be bad things. And then pedo hunting only stigmatizes pedophiles more so. Talking about killing pedophiles, talking about hurting them, treating them like they are inhuman. These things are not helpful to fighting against pedophilia. These things are not helpful to stopping pedophiles. And if anything...
Yeah, for sure. It probably would hurt people. Again, as long as they're not offending, they should give them help because it's going to probably have the best outcome for people. Because you can stop it. Because I feel like once you do engage and like you start, you molest a child, I feel like you've kind of crossed that boundary where you're not going to be able to stop. In the same way as like somebody who does drugs, it's like one, if you have some kind of like predilection to drugs or some kind of like genetic predisposition to drugs, I think that, or even gambling, because there are people who have like genetic, predispositions. I think if you get the help that you need before you actually start doing it, you could probably be saved in some capacity. You could get prevented from like, engaging in it too much. But once you get across that line, it's going to be really difficult.
It's probably only detrimental for everyone, especially for victims of child molestation.
Remember what I said by these people think cruelty is a virtue? I said it earlier in stream that these are the types of people who think cruelty is a virtue. I wasn't kidding.
This guy is so dumb. Seriously, he is too stupid. This is how he started his video off.
Cool thing, I guess.
All right, well, everybody, it seems that I have pissed off a whole lot of people once again. What else is new? Just always upsetting the worst people out there, aren't I? With that said, I mean, just last night, got unbanned from Twitter. I was on a 1-week suspension due to mass reporting. Now, granted, I did actually break TOS. I told a transphobe to Roblox themselves in fairly great detail. I'm surprised that I got suspended temporarily and not permanently for that. Regardless, though, I do not regret it. It was GigaChat as fuck. I got a week-long suspension, and now I'm back.
I get a little upset watching people like Xander Hall sometimes because he used to be far right. He should understand these things better. Everybody attacks their political enemies online.
Really? Did he really used to be far right? Why are there so many like lefties that are like overcorrecting to being like they used to be super far? I mean, I don't know if this is actually true. This guy might be lying or something. I don't know. But like, if it is true, why are there so many people on the left who used to be on the right? And it's like they went from like far right to far left. Doesn't it seem kind of weird? That's like overcorrecting, I feel, no?
Everybody is mean to their political enemies. He is no exception.
Comes off a little performative or something in their brain. It's like the person who it's like Nicholas Avocado who used to be like way too skinny and now he's like way too fat. You know what I mean? And it's just having unhealthy relationships with particular things in general.
But he's blinded
their
to
own
hypocrisy
brain.
because he thinks he's right. Not being transphobic doesn't make you right. If it was just 10, 15, 20 years ago, it would actually make you wrong. You would be transphobic right with the rest of the world. As long as we've recorded human history, trans people have been stigmatized. Now, it's still good to stigmatize transphobes, but you're not superior to them just because you happen to get out. I also used to be far right, and I'm one of the few exceptions that did not go from one stupid
Why are you guys so weird?
far crazy ideology on the right to a dumb, stupid, far crazy ideology on the left. I went from ignorant positions to well-informed positions. You went from ignorant positions to ignorant positions. Actually, now that I think about it, this reminds me of somebody.
I'm biased. Of course, I'm going to be biased as fuck. But you,
biased
it's
as
rad
fuck.
and cool and good, actually, to be biased. So if your main criticism of this video is that I'm biased, then, well, duh.
Now, as we continue,
Easy
you will see
cat
Xander Hall
clap,
goes on
baby.
to hit every single lefty talking point. Back to back to back to back within like a 2-minute frame.
Conveniently, right there was a court case.
Oh, by the way, my understanding of this court document from all of the big brain lefties that research what
It was Nikocado anorexic. So he talks about how he used to have like an issue when he was skinny. He was like malnourished in some capacity. So that's what I'm referring to.
document this was. This is a court case that determined that you cannot go online or onto a public platform or just anything like that and pretend that you have CP. So it doesn't really seem like this is some like secret, you know, message put in there. Not to mention these are two different photo shoots. Like these aren't part of the same photo shoot for the record. Like on top of that,
Where's my other hand?
there is a good likelihood that the documents used here were printed out because court documents, Supreme Court documents in particular, are not copyrighted. And this could be a case of very unfortunate, you know, placing. But what I don't believe that this is a conspiracy to signal to pedos that like Balenciaga is pro-pedo or something.
I'm sure it's not.
Like,
Okay.
what do you think this is? Some New World Order dog whistling shit?
Maybe.
Wait, is she actually running with this
Kabuki.
narrative? Wait, is she actually running with this narrative? Okay, so
Didn't they leave Twitter?
Balenciaga does sort of like a Fortnite chapter reset type thing every few months when they drop a new clothing line or whatever.
He deleted every single photo off of their Instagram page.
Wait, she's actually running. Okay, cool. Okay, so just demonstrably lying. Just actually unironically, openly lying.
It almost feels like this has
Okay, then maybe she was misinformed or she intentionally, I guess that would be the question. Did she intentionally leave that out of the video? That they always delete their stuff? Although clearly they're not proud of it because they deleted it too soon. Okay, whatever. I feel like who cares about that? Balenciaga thing was bad. Why are people so like weirdly defending it?
to be like a targeted cancel towards Shoe0nHead. When you have all the people who are all friends throwing out all the
I think this is Sonic Boss music, no?
same lazy talking points. Yes, Balenciaga takes their stuff down when there's a new clothing line. Where's the new clothing line? It's just a picture of their apology. And according to the website High Snobiety,
Yeah, so they apologetic. There's no conspiracy there. They just fucked up with this dumb fucking attention grab narrative, and they, you know, that's pretty much it.
Balenciaga put that clothing line up just days before Shoe0nHead's tweet came out.
This is demonstrably lying.
Xander Hall is the only person lying here. The only difference is when I call him a liar, I pull up the evidence to prove it, and he just says she's lying over and over, calls her a conspiracy theorist over and over, and just never shows us how he got this information. Now that he's gotten all the talking points out of the way, his criticisms really go downhill from here.
Back when like BreadTube was rising, there was a reason why she started throwing in with lefty content creators like me and Vosh and, you know, all of us, right? It's because the left-wing content started to be more culturally dominant. Right-wing channels were getting dunked on and made fun of and turned into memes nonstop.
Is that why this guy left the right as well? Because they're getting dunked on? I wonder.
This never happened. The biggest channels in the political sphere have always been channels like Ben Shapiro, Joe Rogan, Steven Crowder, PragerU, Dave.
Well, it's fundamentally true. Or I don't know if fundamental is the right word. It is true that like the society shifts back and forth, and different people will kind of go with that. There are people who stay consistent, like Ben Shapiro in the conservative sense, and like Jon Stewart, I guess, for the progressive sense. But there still is, like, we do culturally kind of shift back and forth. So that's part's true.
Rubin, Jordan Peterson, and then you got your one lefty TYT. It was politically viable to move to the left when Xander Hall moved to the left, but it was never more politically viable on YouTube
Whoa,
to
two
be on
tanks.
the left than it is on the right. That time period never happened.
And now that the right is dominant again, notice how she's like showing fucking MAGA rap videos in her videos and congratulating them? You're stupid if you can't see it.
And you're delusional if you do see it. She never congratulated these guys.
Take these
that
people?
didn't happen.
That's a high
if you do
level,
see it, you're schizophrenic. You're just trying way too hard here, Xander Hall. All she was saying was that her tweet popped off so much that everybody's talking about it, and it's even ended up in rap songs. And you took that and said she's congratulating MAGA rappers?
Even vandalizing Balenciaga stores. Also, just so everyone knows, I am not suicidal. Just in case news comes out that I was found with 3 designer bullets in the back of my head. Now.
So she's just like full on, like the Jews.
I think she's just making a little bit of a goof there, a little silly joke, a little silly fun joke there. Not a big deal.
They're gonna get her, I guess. So now she's like a martyr who's gonna get like killed by the Jews for fighting against their like pedo agenda.
What the fuck? Where did that come from, Xander? Oh, holy moly, brother! You're a little lost in the sauce, my dude. You're a little bit lost in the sauce. I think though we're gonna grab this mage here. Oh, yes. No, wait. Oh, we're definitely grabbing this healer. Okay.
Or something? Is that what she believes? Okay.
This is not a bit that he's doing. I did not clip this out of context. It's just him continuing to muddy the waters as much as possible with absolutely no evidence. I'm pretty sure this is a bit by Shoe. It's meant to be funny. But on top of that, she's always been a populist. She's always hated rich people. She's always thought that they were all criminals and corrupt. I mentioned earlier, she thinks it's okay to advocate for violence against rich people. This is just who she is, and it's who she's always been. But it has nothing to do with the Jews, and she never mentioned the Jews. Xander Hall just is insanely bad faith. The faith is so bad. There's a lot of bad, and there's a lot of faith. And this comes together to make him so bad faith.
The best part about this, though, has to be I was fact-checked by Twitter, and this is what they said. Although Shoe often makes comments to cause amusement or laughter, this is an authentic Balenciaga marketing photograph. It contains an excerpt from the U.S. Supreme Court opinion in United States v. Williams, which upheld a part of federal child pornography law. I've never seen one of these fact-checker things just be like, U.S. Supreme Court opinion in United States v. Williams, which upheld a part of federal child pornography law. I've never seen one of these fact-checker things just be like, fact-check true. I know Shoe likes to get a little...
Does the fact-check say, yes, your conspiracy theory about Jewish pedophile elites is real? Or did it say, yes, this is a real photo from a Balenciaga photo shoot, and yes, that document does seem to be the court document people are saying it does, that it is. Something that no one is arguing against. No one has argued, A, that those aren't real Balenciaga photos, or B, that that is not what that document actually is.
What is this? Oh, it's quarter stars.
Have you seen anybody argue any of those points? That those weren't real Balenciaga photo shoot photos, or that that document was misidentified? I have not seen a single person make those claims. We're shadowboxing right now. Shoe, what are you doing?
It's just the cherry on top at the end of this for him to say that she's shadow.
I don't know. Maybe you could say the same thing about me. Is like, who watches this content? This is all so weird. Why is there so much energy about this one topic? I mean, no, it's all to this guy, but even this video, like, we're really. This is all about Balenciaga. Holy fuck! I feel like it's not that deep.
Boxing. After he missed everything she said by a mile. She's saying she wishes the fact checker would just say that her post was true, and that in general she's never seen a fact checker just say true. She did not say that the fact checker says that her post is true. It's pretty obvious by watching any of Shoe0nHead or Xander Hall's content that neither one of them really engage with fact checkers very often, but they actually do fairly often just say true. I could have timestamped almost literally everything that came out of his mouth during this stream. I'd actually rather not spend forever on his insanity. I think I've made my case pretty clear here. So let's just go ahead and cut to the moment of truth.
Pizzagate thing where Balenciaga's like hiding children in their basement. Do I think they are literally trafficking children? I don't think that. I don't know that. I've never claimed to know that. What I do know is that this is a huge fuck-up from a billion-dollar company. And when a billion-dollar
Okay, so they aren't doing anything to kids.
Yes.
So the worst case scenario is it was a kind of weird photo shoot.
Yes.
And a different photo shoot with a weird document.
Yes, yes, yes.
So that's all it was. You're admitting that. You don't think that there's some child sex trafficking pedo ring in the basement? See, so apparently it's just subliminal messaging. That's what she thinks it is?
Ooh, got him.
Conspiracy brain is wild. I wish I thought the world was this. You know, the world actually is this exciting, but not in the way that she thinks it is. It's more of like a terrifying excitement, you know?
He was so close. He was so close. I don't know what just happened. This guy is allergic to the truth. He is allergic to reality. He just goes right back to pretending that she's spreading conspiracy theories after she blatantly says that she does not believe in the conspiracy theories. And he has no conspiracy theories to show that she's pushed. At no point throughout his entire video does he say, here's the conspiracy theory right here. This is the thing that's conspiratorial. It's like dealing with a drug addict. You can't help them until they choose to help themselves. We got to move on.
This is going to be a wild one. So get comfy, get cozy. I made you some hot chocolate. Look, it's got marshmallows in it. So for those of you who don't know, because I sure as hell did not before all of this,
Yeah, it is kind of funny, this. I'm so quirky, hot chocolate before I talk about how I accidentally started a mass deranged conspiracy theory.
Well, if you thought that was quirky, don't watch Chad's content, all right? Because that's or Curtis Connor or anything. They do a lot of jump cuts, a lot of energy. I'm not a very high energy guy. Too much energy for me. I'm an old man, so.
I don't want to do this again.
Bing,
Oh
bing,
boy.
Bing, 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 bing.
Yeah, very much DJ Mule energy. That's true.
Who's that?
Yeah.
Oh, that was the guy that made like the Xander Hall hit piece, right? Oh, that guy was super based.
I agree. Yeah.
This is a goth bear. This is a bear with gothic outfit. You can literally buy everything like this in every mall in America at a Hot Topic. Only you.
Well, I mean, the argument would be like Hot Topic isn't like explicitly for the old kiddaroos. You know what I mean? It's for you know, I guess. But you know, there's a lot of things just that. I guess. Whatever. Okay.
Make that shit sexual. It is you who saw a leather harness and immediately went to BDSM.
This is not an argument in Demon Mind.
I mean, that's like listen, I feel like leather harness, you know, like I'd be like saying, if, oh, you saw ashless chaps and you thought that was sexual. I was like, yeah, I do. You know, there is sexualization on some clothings. It is life for person.
His favor. So nothing is objectively BDSM.
I want to say brother, but it's like but they're trans, and like I have this habit of overcorrecting. I call everybody brother, whether they're a guy or a girl. And so like I don't want to like engage in overcorrecting, but at the same time I don't want to be invalidating. So it's like the struggle is real.
BDSM. Just as nothing is objectively goth. There's a pattern that we've recognized over time. We put a label on that pattern so that we can communicate it. That label, communicating that pattern, in this case is BDSM. And it seems like most news outlets, most of the people on Twitter, most of everybody thinks that Balenciaga is putting BDSM clothes on these bears. Now, I actually agree that specific bear does look a bit more like a punk type of bear, but the other purple bear looks like it's wearing BDSM. The sky is not objectively blue. The sky is a color, and we generally use the word blue to communicate a specific type of color.
All you have to do is cross the Mexican border, and over there it's aqua.
Aqua. I remember that conversation. It was silly. Vaush is a silly goose
the
sometimes.
color that we would label blue, just as people would look at the clothes on that bear and say that those clothes match what we would generally call BDSM. She's doing my job. Is she gonna argue against all of her own points? If tomorrow we decided to start calling the sky green, then the sky would just be green. We wouldn't be wrong. Definitions come from how most people use a word. People aren't sexualizing the bear. They are saying that the clothes on the bear match a pattern, and that pattern is sexual. I'm talking about logic. I feel like the lefties are probably falling asleep at this point.
Oh my god, somebody interrupt this, you fucking bitch. Thank you. Sorry.
Turn Joker like purple. Logic is like a scientific process that we use to come to truth statements. So both the far right and the far left have already been pre-programmed to discount logic. I feel like I need to add something else. Hold on.
A lot of energy
now
in this
that we
video
have all
too.
the lefties paying attention again. You can't pick and choose when you like logic and when you don't like logic. Doing debates or being a debate bro does not mean that you actually like logic or that you use logic. At least not correctly. Debates are just meant to challenge the thought process.
Bro, in this dungeon, there's shit all over. I know this is irrelevant to the video, but they're like they use purple on purple, and I have like I'm getting old, and it's like hard for me to see shit on the ground because everything is the same fucking color, so it gets annoying as hell. Just wanted to rant for a second. I don't even see what I died to. It's fucking annoying. You saw that? There's a little shit on the ground.
Using and compare it to somebody else's. So when we have a ton of lefty content creators who make video essays complaining about debate bros, the issue in those video essays is not that they are debate bros. The issue is that the debate bros are coming to logical conclusions that the video essayists are not happy with. And then we get to lefties like Xander Hall, Demon Mama, Vosh, where they do debates, but they do the same exact thing where they all of a sudden decide to exclude logic when logical conclusions no longer come to the conclusions that they want them to.
It's funny too because in my video that I did on this conspiracy theory theory already. I pointed out that you can find literally at Petco, in every Petco in America, leather harnesses for dogs that look identical to the ones that are being put on these bears.
So when I show a picture,
Well, maybe, but like I guess if we get a little into it, like you know, putting a leather harness on a dog is because, you know, you want to control your dog. Putting a leather harness on a person is because you want to control that person like they're a dog, which is like a kink, right? So maybe that's the issue maybe that's the problem we're all running into here, is we're not understanding that. You know what I mean?
Picture of BDSM clothes that look like what the bear is wearing. I show a picture with the same exact design.
See, look at this. I can't see anything on the fucking ground.
The same exact collar, the same exact ring. But this one has a leash attached to it because that's what they do in BDSM. Demon Mama shows a picture of something that looks nothing like BDSM.
Like, that's why it's BDSM, right? Like, that's because, like, we treat people like they're dogs or this or that in, like, some kind of, you know, particular way, shape or form. It's kind of the whole skladoo there.
And looks nothing like the clothes that are on the bear.
Oh no! Oh no, everybody! Everybody! Oh god, no! Hold on. It's loading. I have to show you. Oh no! Petco.com. Oh no! They're selling pedophile wear. Oh no, everybody! They're selling fetish wear on Petco.com.
Who watches these people, bro? It's fucking nuts.
Holy shit! We're doomed, everybody! We need to get your weapons! The pedos are coming! Shoes pedophiles are coming!
Again, Demon Mama pretty much just destroys her entire argument. Let's assume for a second that what the dog is wearing actually does look like what the bear is wearing. A huge part of BDSM is dehumanizing each other. That is like part of the kink. It's treating somebody like they are an animal or less than human. So if you could actually find Petco wear for dogs that looks like BDSM wear, everybody'd be like, yeah, duh. Like, these people literally wear dog collars, leashes, harnesses. They are meant to look like dog wear. So if you're finding stuff for dogs that looks like what's on the bear, you're pretty much admitting this looks like BDSM. I thought she did like kink stuff and BDSM stuff. What has happened? And it's funny just watching.
A lot of people pretend they're into BDSM when they're fucking virgins. That's what the problem is. It's the truth, dude. It's fucking true, bro. Give me a heel. Holy fuck, I'm getting my ass shit.
People be so blatantly wrong, yet their chat is not going to call them out. They're not going to hold them accountable.
I like BDSM, and then like you touch them, and then they like cry. That's how fucking most people are. Bunch of vanillers. All right, that's what I like to call them. Derogatory.
Because Demon Mama goes on to actually complain about Shoe0nHead wearing clothes that look like BDSM type clothing, and now says that Shoe0nHead is wearing pedophile clothes. Shoe0nHead's criticism was never that
I'm gonna have to time you out, brother. No, I can't. Sorry.
BDSM clothes are pedophile clothes. This never happened. Again, she's not coming anywhere close to Shoe0nHead's criticisms. Shoe0nHead's problem is that a child is holding a bear that is wearing sexualized clothing.
Uh-oh, I've just been sent yet another image of Shoe0nHead posting to thousands of her fans, many of whom are children, pictures of her in literal bondage gear.
Many of hers are
Oh no,
children.
everybody. Oh shit. Oh no, a second hypocrisy is striking the shoe. Oh no. Uh-oh, everybody. Yikers.
Yikers. I like
Looks
that one.
like Shoe0nHead should be the subject of the next pedo hunting. What is she hiding? What is Shoe0nHead hiding from us all?
The only way for them to engage in this conversation whatsoever is to not engage with anybody else. They can make up their own narrative about pedophiles, about conspiracy theories that does not latch on to reality whatsoever, as long as it makes the right people look.
Here's my my argument about pedophiles. They're bad. Pedophilia is bad, guys. Do you disagree? Hot take. Hot take.
Bad. They believe that talking about pedophilia and grooming whatsoever is automatically bad for the LGBTQ. So instead of them just being like, yeah, this is really bad, but it has nothing to do with gay or trans people, they go ahead and just discount the entire narrative, because if they acknowledged reality whatsoever, that would give fuel to the right.
There we go. I gotta
And
time
also,
out.
they're on the bear. I'm just...
Sorry, I told you, Demon Mama is a girl, bro. Okay, so you gotta not be a silly goose and misgender, because that is only something silly gooses do, dude.
This is what I'm talking about the conspiracy theory crap. It's just only Shoe is making this, and Shoe is spinning it into a narrative. Now, maybe...
Your best argument is... You can't even make that argument. Your best argument is to say that, like, a Shoe0nHead is dog whistling to give this narrative popularity. You can't even say that she's creating it. But then she'd have to be, like, next level IQ, I guess, to come to that conclusion. But, okay.
It's possible that during this video, Shoe0nHead brings out evidence that these children were abused. But let's find out if that actually happens.
Again, I have not seen Shoe say anything about these children being abused, but the clothes being on the bear does not change anything. And this is a fundamental misunderstanding that Demon Mama has with cultural norms on a consistent basis. And this is actually a logical mistake made by a lot of lefties where they see studies that say that children who grow up around nudity are less likely to be traumatized by nudity later on in life, and so therefore they believe it's okay to expose.
Well, I mean, that makes sense because they're being desensitized to it. That doesn't mean it's like a good thing. You know, if you do anything too many times, it would have the outcome of you being will have the outcome of you being desensitized to it. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's good to desensitize people to specific things. Like if I have a kid that grows up around murder, oh fuck me, dude. Oh, it's not good. This is not good. This is not good. This is it. This is the wipe. This is the wipe. This is the wipe, guys. This is the wipe. This is the wipe. Oh, you dumb fuck. Sorry. You get my point.
Expose children to sexual things because they believe that they'll be less likely
What the
to be
fuck is this
traumatized by
spawn
sexual
point?
things.
Oh.
The problem is that, one, we don't live in a society where children are constantly exposed to sexual things, therefore it would be detrimental to them and cause trauma. Two, being exposed to nudity is not the same thing as being exposed to sexual imagery. And three, we've stigmatized having sexual things around children for a good reason. And the reason for that is to avoid children being abused. So if you do see children with sexual things or around sexual imagery, these should be red flags for everybody else around. These social norms are meant to protect children. So while we've already talked about the fact that pedo hunting is not helpful for stopping child molestation, the Balenciaga story is not about pedo hunting. There's not a pedophile here. There's no pedophiles around. People are upset that they are breaking the social norms of allowing children to hold sexual things, be around sexual things. To where if this was normalized over time, we would also be normalizing the red flags that are meant to protect children. So while I understand most people see something like these videos from Demon Mama and they think this is somebody who wants to normalize sexualizing children, what she actually wants to do is break down social norms and put into place new norms that won't be as harmful. The problem is that you can't break down social norms if you don't understand them in the first place, and she should probably be acknowledging the facts of the matter first before she goes on to
Is Demon Mama like autistic or something? Is that why they struggle with social norms? I'm just wondering. Not bad. Not a bad thing. Okay, just saying.
Pretend that those social norms don't exist whatsoever, because she's continuing to pretend that this is a narrative that only Shoe0nHead believes in, when, as I've gone over, almost every mainstream news outlet has pretty much said the same exact thing. Everybody's upset about this and thinks it's weird, except for Denims, Xanderhall, and Demon Mama. As Demon Mama explained earlier, this is actually the second video that she did on this. She did another video just on the tweet, and that was the video where she showed the dog harness. But in this second video, she continuously says that Shoe did push a conspiracy theory on social media.
Surrounded by
blowing up the
Balenciaga
DPS right now, baby.
and a whole ass leash, a little weird, a little sussy. Like the pictures just
little sussy, a little
Little
weird.
sussy.
So it's your vibes, is what you're saying. So you're saying
Like a character
is you
from
and your
Among
fans.
Us.
Let me just get this clear. You and your fans alleged
Blowing
a
up the
conspiracy.
DPS meter, dude.
And by the way, Shoe0nHead did repeatedly on social media claim that this was a pedophile conspiracy.
So with Xanderhall, Denims, and Demon Mama all continuously saying that Shoe0nHead's pushed the conspiracy theory, I feel like I've got to be missing something. I've already gone over all of their videos. Now, it is true that all of these people have already proven themselves to be unreliable sources in the past. But just as Project Veritas has proven themselves to be unreliable in the past as well, that doesn't mean that everything they ever come out with, I can just immediately discount it because they were unreliable sources before. I've already gone through Demon Mama's first video a couple of times, but that's apparently where she goes over all the social media stuff, so I'm gonna go over it one more time and see if I can find any conspiracy theories in there.
So, Xanderhall says, Shoe0nHead on her way to once again use her massive platform to provide the neo-Nazis in her audience with fodder they can use to justify the murder of gay people. But this time, one day after an anti-gay terror attack. By the way, fucking based Xanderhall. Can we get some motherfucking hypers in chat for Xanderhall having the balls and the spine and the Giga Chat energy to be a real trans ally? Because unironically, that's what it looks like. Xanderhall out here fucking spitting and showing you all how it's done. I replied to this. I said, Shoe, what are you trying to imply here? Because it kind of sounds like you're trying to imply something. Naming the serfs, hunter, and ContraPoints, specifically naming ContraPoints first, and then saying, ooh, it's weird and normal that they would unfollow me over my insane schizo posting about pedophilia. I wonder, chat, what do you think that Shoe was trying to say about ContraPoints, the most famous trans YouTuber, I believe, the largest trans YouTuber in the world?
Hey,
I wonder what Shoe0nHead could be trying to imply by saying that it's totally normal and cool when she gets unfollowed.
So I did go back and watch the entire first video for a third time. That last clip is the closest thing that I can find that sounds like maybe Shoe0nHead is pushing a conspiracy theory, where she says that all of these people have blocked her over pedo stuff. But again, if Demon Mama and these other people got their way, they would be normalizing pedophilia, and that's just not conspiratorial. That's just fact.
This is one more. I'm gonna call on Merrick here because Merrick really nailed it. Merrick says, I was molested as a kid, and when you come up with Rube Goldberg machine Da Vinci Code methods of spotting the pedophile in companies and ads, you spit in the face of victims. You're not helping, you just want to feel in control. This is about you, not about helping others. I actually wanted to say more honest and harsher things, and my boyfriend won't let me.
Keep the pimp hand strong.
If you really cared about child victims, you'd be looking at the data and you'd be approaching at this from a practical and not a fantasy perspective. I wish I could empathize with you, conspiracy.
Damn, all this to say that maybe you shouldn't put kids next to BDSM bears and fucking shit like that. It's a little crazy, going a little kooky. Yo, stop fucking targeting me, bro. It's fucked up.
Brain culture warrior, but it's hard when I know how much damage you're doing. The truth is not a point-and-click adventure. Most kids are hurt by their family and friends. I didn't fit that. I didn't fit that, and my story is boring still. Grow up. I get for y'all that's very exciting to feel like you're uncovering something and a political tool to wield, but those of us who've survived this, it's not a fucking game. It's a lifetime of suffering. Stop. You're not heroes.
So if Demon Mama agrees with Merrick's post, this is actually starting to make sense. I now understand why they are so confused. Merrick's post has nothing to do with Shoe0nHead. It might be directed at Shoe0nHead. Merrick is that stupid, but Merrick's talking about pedo hunting. What Shoe0nHead did with Balenciaga is not pedo hunting. She said it's not normal, it's weird, and it's sus. She didn't point out a pedophile and say, go get him. As I agreed earlier, that is something that Shoe0nHead does, and that is something that's detrimental, but that is not what's happening in this case. Because again, this is like CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, TMZ, Forbes, literally everybody has covered this story. Everybody thinks this is weird. Shoe0nHead was just the person who broke the story. This is not the same thing as pedo hunting. Pointing out somebody breaking a social norm and saying, yo, what the hell, bro? We're not going and attacking them, and we're not sending people after them. Shoe0nHead didn't do any of these things. She pointed it out, Balenciaga apologized, and for the rest of us, that was good enough until the lefties all came out and started making stuff up.
Just so we're clear, you alleged a pedophile conspiracy because you thought it looked a little sussy.
Dude. Come on.
Remember what I read just before this about how this actually damages, like literally, recordedly, markedly, every single anti-child abuse organization in the United States essentially signed off on a letter saying that this ruins their ability to actually help people?
Those organizations speaking out against these things were speaking out against QAnon conspiracy theories about human trafficking. Shoe0nHead says over and over, this is weird, this is sus, this isn't normal. She is not talking about human trafficking.
Anybody, political committee, public office holder, candidate, or media outlet who lends any credibility to QAnon conspiracies related to human trafficking actively harms the fight against human trafficking.
Yeah, I mean, this is how, like, pretty much any, you could say, advocacy movement goes. People are basically like, oh, this Balenciaga thing's really weird, and then we're all like, yeah, that's true, and the Balenciaga like, oopsie poopsie, and then they kind of get rid of it. And then there's some people who take it too far and they start promoting like actual conspiracy theories about like fucking pedophilia and shit. Like they're supposed to be like some kind of deep seated underground, you know, whatever. Yeah. So yeah, remember on the like This Place Rules, you know, where that one guy, he was a conspiracy theorist and he thought that everybody was a pedophile. It turned out that he molested a child when they were 9 years old and he was a convicted pedophile. So maybe some people that are like really deep into the conspiracy theory are actually overcorrecting and they are pedophiles themselves. Oh, maybe. Almost died there.
Let's
You
keep
didn't
that
see
on
it,
our
but I
mind.
did.
We'll react to the video and we'll see how it
But
goes,
I'm a
okay?
ninja, I'm a monk, so I can't
Because
die.
I have a feeling that this video is probably just going to dance around the issue and never actually address the fact that every single person who is actually helping children,
What the Oh my god, dude. That's
actually
what I'm talking about, this fucking dungeon, dude. He shoots a shockwave in front of him, but you can't see it. See? He's channeling it. You can't see it until he uses it. Fucking Jesus Christ, give me some goddamn visuals. Every other dungeon there's visuals. This one there's no visuals. It pisses me off. It's so stupid. I'm angry. I'm literally shitting and coming right now.
devoted their lives to saving children from abuse. People who their paycheck is working for a nonprofit, spending days counseling or investigating or assisting or getting them set up with legal things, not fucking making videos on the internet like Shoe or even myself. But hey, at least I'm not the one propagating conspiracy theories that every single other person who actually does this stuff in the world says, please do not do, because it makes it impossible for us to actually help kids.
I will put money on this right now. I will put $5,000 on this right now if you go and ask those organizations if they think it is just as harmful for somebody to conflate a QAnon conspiracy theory or human trafficking conspiracy theory with somebody just pointing out something that's sus. I guarantee they will say that that is just as bad, because
I don't think that they would care at all, because this is very beneath them. This whole thing's so fucking stupid. Oh, that's just my opinion.
You end up muddying the waters as much as possible, making it hard to tell the difference between an actual QAnon conspiracy theorist and somebody just pointing out a fact. This is the worst poisoning of the well I have ever seen. But I get it. This is just a big virtue signal for you. You just want to pretend like you're cool so you can conflate everything all as though it's all one big mashed up thing. These are not the same things. These are completely different things, and they are not related in any way.
Because you see, Demon Mama is a streamer that cares about truth. Demon Mama is a streamer with a spine, and Demon Mama actually cares about the issues that she talks about.
So
wow, are you being ableist to people that have spina bifida? Because they don't have spines, right? That's what it means. You don't have a spine. I hate that fight, dude. Because my fucking tiger bomb makes me teleport to things if I'm too far away, and then I end up teleporting through the fire like an asshole.
Is actually disgusting. I cannot imagine.
Let's see what we got here.
And her followers and everybody in the chat sitting there and nodding along. What happened to these people? What went wrong in their lives? I feel like I've already made my case on Demon Mama as well. Anytime I do video essays, the video essays are about the truth. I have not always been good at telling the truth. When I was younger, I was on pain medication for a while because I had a bunch of health issues. I got addicted to my pain medication and over time moved up to stronger and stronger things until I was a full-fledged heroin addict with needles and everything. I didn't have any skills or anything because I dropped out of school. So I pretty much became a con man, and I became really good at manipulating people because I needed a way to support my heroin addiction financially. Eventually, I went to prison. I got out, decided to get clean, and turned my entire life around. But the part that was really hard for me to change about myself, the part that I really struggled with, was telling the truth. Lying had always been a game to me, and I just enjoyed manipulating people. But now, all of a sudden, I'm catching myself after I lie and sitting there wondering, why the hell did I just do that? And I spent years just focusing on myself and just focusing on being an honest person. It's not easy. Once you get used to lying.
I spend years just jerking off. Just kind of fucking around. You know, I don't have a crazy backstory. Sorry, guys. I know I'm not the Superman you wanted.
To yourself, and everybody around you enables this behavior, it's almost impossible at that point to pull yourself out. So when I do video essays, I focus on people being dishonest because they don't care so much about the content creator in and of themselves. I care about all of the people in the audience who are being misled and who are enabling that content creator. Like, she starts off talking about child trafficking when that isn't related to this at all. And she poisons the well as much as possible. Like, during most of this video, it actually sounds like Demon Mama is talking about herself.
Anyway, the company is currently under fire for their new holiday collection photo shoot. And when you see these photos, you will probably understand why. One was a little girl.
Notice that?
Girl on a couch with a very worried.
I already am catching the sleights of hand. You are going to feel weird when you see these photos.
Oh.
Do you know what that's called? It's
called priming, yeah. Which doesn't, like, if I said, you're really gonna love this new burger I made, it's, you know, it's not always a bad thing. It's priming a little bit. Doesn't make it's bad fundamentally. You know, you could say if people are so fucking stupid that watch a shoe that they're like, they will literally feel anything she tells them to. Like, sure, that could be bad, but at the end of the day, that was like me saying before you get this video, like, you're gonna be so fucking bored with everybody. That's. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be mean. No, but if I said something like that, you know what I mean? It's just whatever. Who cares? Is this supposed to despawn, sir? You're supposed to fucking despawn, bro. Get out of here. I hate this fucking game.
That's so interesting. It's called priming your audience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listening to well. Yeah. Interesting.
I don't think it's that far.
It's a literal sales technique. Yeah, it's interesting. Anyway, let's continue.
No.
I don't think Demon Mama even knows what poisoning the well is, because she literally poisoned the well the entire time before she started, and I've been poisoning the well this entire time as well. I've talked about how every single person
poisoning the cum, dude,
that I've mentioned is stupid if I actually think that they're stupid. I'm not trying to be a dick. I actually don't respect these people, and I don't think that they're capable of engaging on a level like this. I think that all of them have such a bias that blinds them to anything and everything that does not align with the narratives that they have already bought into. And then Demon Mama goes on to say all of the same stuff that everybody says.
Shoe0nHead says that it's well, let's get her words. Let's just rewind real quick. I want to hear what her exact words on this were.
The purse. The only piece of paper with any text on it, conveniently right there, was a court case related to child pornography. Creepy.
A court case related to child pornography. Well, you know, it's interesting.
Rylan Mullins became a member.
Thank you so much.
Into it, and actually,
scared me a little bit, sorry.
If you go read the actual court case, it actually is quite apparent that this is a court case that makes it
Jillian K became a member
to prosecute.
Hey, thank you. Is that me or is that them? I'm confused now. Sorry. Thank you so much for the free memberships. I'll acknowledge them after the stream.
Brad Bresson became a member.
What's happening? Why are so many people becoming members? What the hell's happening, guys? Stop becoming members to me. Stop paying me money. Stop it. I'm getting confused. I'm just kidding, but I'm confused now. Sorry.
Alloy Lambda became a member.
What the fuck's happening right now? Thank you. Thank you. Sorry.
It's Sophie. Became a member.
Thank you so much. Why did that happen just now? I mean, I really appreciate it. I'm just surprised that so many people did that. It might be just renewals of memberships or something. But thank you. I appreciate it. Sorry.
Child pornography.
So she says it's interesting that Shoe0nHead says that this is related to child pornography. And
Got
then
him.
she goes on to explain that it's just a Supreme Court case about child pornography. I'm so lost. Like, Demon Mama literally says the words actually. She says, well, it's actually
Thank you guys
about this.
for your small
Normally
guts.
when you say that,
one person's
it
a large.
sounds like you're
One person's a large gut. Brad Bresson, president. Thank you so much.
disagreeing with the other person. All you did was just confirm what she said. I thought maybe in Shoe0nHead's original tweet thread, she said something that made it sound like the court case actually was legalizing child porn, because everybody we've covered says the same thing. I didn't understand why they were saying this over and over, so I went ahead and pulled up the tweet once more. And I was not enlightened to some new mind-blowing information that made this
Well,
make
again,
sense.
she just says it's related to it, and she doesn't explicitly say that like it's against it. So that would be where people will be like, "Oh, this is not good," but I feel like it's fucking stupid. This whole thing.
whatsoever. Just below the OP, Shoe0nHead references Ashcroft versus free speech. And it was a U.S. Supreme Court case that was actually making it easier to convict people who had computer-generated child pornography.
Good.
Now, if I keep scrolling down, Merrick corrects her.
Good.
and
Get
says
rid of
that-
get rid of this. Get rid of the lolicons. Get them out of here. Get them out of here, dude. We need to get that shit off the fucking internet. It's time to fight back against that disgusting. Oh, well, she's actually 1,000. Why'd you draw her like that? Why did you? If she's supposed to be 1,000, why does she need to look 8? Doesn't make any fucking sense, you weirdo. Doesn't make any goddamn sense. You didn't have to draw it like that, okay? If it's an actual person who just looks young, that's different because they're a real person. But you drew them in a fucking 1,000-year-old as an 8-year-old. That's weird. That's weird.
Actually, it's United States versus Williams, not the Ashcroft case.
Hey, you didn't have to do that, you silly goose. Thank you for, well, they'll announce it in a second.
Just stating that it's something else that would make it easier to prosecute people with child pornography. So even if you say that Shoe0nHead got it wrong and this is the correct one, both of these cases are things that pedophiles would not be happy with. Both of these things are anti-pedophile. So you can keep arguing against Shoe0nHead as though she's saying that this is a case that makes child pornography legal or something like that. I don't know where you're getting that from, but that is obviously not what she's saying, and that's
Well, no, she just like she makes it seem like the being related to CP is like that it's bad. So just I guess not going to announce it. Thank you so much, Barbarian Babe, for the King Gut membership. Damn, thank you.
obviously not what she believes.
Actually, real quick, I'm going to take a question from chat. Huffy says, I think we should at least be able to admit it's a little weird to have that court document in a random, unrelated photo shoot. I don't think it indicates a secret cabal, but it's odd to say the least.
True.
Many things in the world are odd. Supreme Court cases, such as this one, are in the public domain. Let me propose something. What if the artist just had a bad idea? Like, what if the artist was trying to make, like, a statement?
Yeah, I agree. That's what makes it weird, though. This is a bad statement. Didn't work, I guess,
Or something that, like, wow, we censor certain types of art, bro, and they're just kind of dumb.
Yeah.
What if they just chose a random paper? You don't even know. We don't know the reason why the artist put that in there.
What was the
You want them
reason?
to be sued and fired, and you're willing to allege a pedophilic conspiracy? What the fuck?
Her chatter's just like, dude, why can't we just say it's weird? Like, we don't have to say there's a cabal or anything like that. We can just admit this is weird, right? And she immediately goes to the, well, it's not copywritten. And then she goes back to arguing against pedophilic conspiracies. The chatter was not pushing a cabal conspiracy theory. I don't know why she keeps doing this.
So I went to Balenciaga's website, and lo and behold, it was real. The
Lo
photo shoots,
and
the
behold.
CP document, everything was right there.
This video is really not that bad. The subject is not necessarily super interesting to me, but I will say they probably could have done a better job editing it down a little bit.
The CP document? It wasn't a CP document. You manipulative fuck. You lying, manipulative fuck. is a public domain.
It's not
document
CP.
About a case.
It's just PP.
That made it easier to prosecute child porn. You manipulative slimeball.
I had no idea the entire internet started talking about it, because once a tweet of mine starts to blow up, I just mute it and just move on with my day. My tweet.
Bullshit. Bullshit. When this originally came.
I don't know. I kind of believe that. It gets annoying. She gets a lot of traction, so she probably just mutes it because it's not worth constantly looking at people who agree or disagree, because it could be annoying. It could be bad in both directions. Some people can be over affirming, some people could be over critical. Like, yeah, I don't doubt that they did that. Like, it's normal to me. Unless you're fucking terminally online, you just feel like reading everything that everybody says about you.
Went through her comments. She was replying to comments. Bullshit. Do Shoe0nHead fans really buy this shit? Do Shoe0nHead fans really eat from the trough like this?
I mean, maybe she replied to a couple fans, and then maybe after she's like, yeah, I gotta stop doing this. It's like normal relationship with content, you know? Occasionally I'll read through the comments and I'll reply to one or two things, but I try not to, you know?
This person has no respect for you.
I'm thinking the same exact thing about Demon Mama fans right now. When I saw her say that, I thought, okay, maybe it's in her original stream, because she did a whole stream on the original tweet and then cut that into a video. But in the video, she definitely does not go over Shoe0nHead replying to comments. And I thought maybe that's where the conspiracy theories are. Maybe I can finally find.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Did she show us that they did that?
Conspiracy theories. So I went back, watched the entire stream.
Good for
still
my file.
Not only are the conspiracy theories not there, but on top of that, she does not go through Shoe0nHead's comments, and she doesn't show Shoe0nHead replying to other people. In the clip where she just said, we saw it, I'm assuming she's saying that they saw it on stream and that they all went over it together. Now, Demon Mama came into that stream very prepared. She had all of her things about child abuse and sex trafficking and all of those other unrelated things. So it's possible now that she actually went over Shoe0nHead replying to the comments in like a Discord with other people while they were doing research for that stream. So I've already gone through Shoe0nHead's threads. I have not found anything conspiratorial in there. Not only that, I haven't even seen her replying to other people in her comments. It's possible that they exist, I just don't see them, and it's very frustrating that all of these streamers keep seeming to reference things that they're refusing to show us or show any evidence of, while literally everything that they're talking about hinges on that information. Like, let's say that it actually turns out that all of the things that they're saying actually are true, and Shoe0nHead really was pushing a conspiracy theory. This wouldn't change any of my video, because that's kind of on them to show us that information if that's what all of their videos are about. I only wanted to play like 2 or 3 clips from Demon Mama's show, but the more I watched, the more I felt like I had to say something. So I've already made my point on most of this stuff, so we can just rapid fire through it all real quick.
Checked and said that this is a real photo, which nobody ever doubted that it was a real photo. And the fact checker also held the argument that it was a law against child pornography.
Shoe never said otherwise.
Oh my God.
I've never seen one of these fact checker things just be like, fact check true. I know.
Oh my God. Oh my fucking God, she did it. It said that it was a law against child pornography, you fucking idiot! Are you for real?
She still never said otherwise.
With Balenciaga facing a firestorm over a series of disturbing new ads.
Oh yeah, I love it. TMZ. Oh yeah, TMZ is the best source ever, Shoe0nHead. What quality investigative pedo hunting you're doing here, citing fucking TMZ.
Eyes and ears were on their highest profile partner for comment. Kim finally released a statement on Sunday calling herself disgusted and outraged.
Are you denying that Kim said that she was disgusted and outraged?
Meanwhile, her ex-husband, Kanye West, after going on InfoWars and saying, quote, "There are a lot of things I love about Hitler," ran defense for Balenciaga.
And now all of a sudden, everyone is so outraged and focused on Balenciaga, but then we're still aborting our kids. We're still fornicating, but we don't wear Balenciaga now.
Hey, Shoe.
Okay,
real question here. Have you ever thought about why he might have done that? Have you ever thought about why he would want to pivot attention from Balenciaga towards his own enemies? Towards his own political
ends?
We
need to lust him, I think.
Interesting how that goes, huh? This is just more well poisoning. Let's go, though.
It is just blatantly obvious that she does not know what well poisoning is.
This is the thing with conspiracies, though. They're always rabbit holes. When there's so
My wife, yes, I want to eat dinner together. What do you want to have?
many things that are unexplained about the world, and people
This video's got about 20 minutes on it, so we can probably eat after that, unless this fucking... Well, then we can eat after that.
just kind of feel helpless and powerless, people understandably start to look for answers elsewhere. And a lot of people took this Balenciaga thing as just kind of the rich and powerful doing what they do in secret now out in the open. Do I think this is some kind of Pizzagate thing where Balenciaga's like hiding children in their basement?
This is going to be interesting.
Do I think they are literally trafficking children? I don't think that. I don't know that. I've never claimed to know that. What I do know is that this is a huge
On Twitter, by the way,
You made cheeseburgers just now? Okay. If you made them already, and if you want to eat in here, you can. I'm just doing a video thing. I also bought us all hot dogs, like turkey hot dogs. Like, no, cheddar wurst.
Shoe0nHead was going around in her comments saying that this was a literal pedo conspiracy.
Evidence, please.
Saying that people who don't agree with her insane posting were defending pedophiles.
Yeah.
She said that this was this was pedo shit.
True.
That people were defending pedo shit.
Hey, Shoe0nHead, this fact check just says true.
Oh my God, like I could just, do we want to just bring some of these up?
Whoa, what was that? Yeah, please, pull some of them up. Yeah. Wait, where did that other one go?
Like I've got, you could just, they're all over the place. She said this to all kinds of people.
So many, there's so many conspiracy theories. I can't even pick one.
She was saying all over the place that this is pedo shit. What's with the pedo shit?
You don't have to make them, baby girl. I just bought them in case you wanted to do like hamburger hot dog.
Stop defending the pedo
Yeah, it's
shit.
a dog burger.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
What are you fucking talking about?
What are you talking about? These things are pedophilic and you are defending them.
You retreated because you have no spine. You won't stand by the fact that you have blood on hands.
Damn.
$1 billion company. And when
Blood
a $1
on your
billion
hands.
company f***s up, who better to come to their defense than the progressive left?
This is cool. Should I buy this for $20
Better to
fucking
come to their
dollars?
defense
Jesus
than them
Christ.
putting out a fake PR statement that you gobble up because you're brain dead, and then your followers all
Dude,
gobble it up
this is going
as they
down in
fucking
value
bury
so
an artist who
quickly.
didn't do anything
Fuck.
wrong. You haven't even proven that the artist did anything wrong. You haven't even proved that the artist even had negative intent. All you know is that there was a document in a photo and nothing more. That's it. And other things. People were drawing lines to the connections, which you never show.
Well, yeah, she didn't make any of those claims, so she's not going to show any of that stuff. But while you're complaining about her not showing things that she never claimed, you did not show any of the things that you claimed, which was conspiracy theories. You went on to say that she called people pedos and said that people were defending pedo stuff, but that's all true. This is pedo stuff. As you keep saying that this is not a pedo document, it is a document about pedophilia, so the rest of us are calling it a pedo document. And even if the stuff that she was saying about the pedo stuff wasn't true, it still wouldn't be a conspiracy theory. But the conspiracy theory part, that is on you, that is for you to show, and you have not shown that whatsoever. You just hear her say that she doesn't believe in any of the conspiracy theories, and you just continue to accuse her of conspiracy theories without saying what those conspiracy theories are, and then you go on to name a bunch of things that are not conspiratorial whatsoever. On top of that, yeah, she never blamed the photographer. She never went off about the photographer. I don't know why you're acting like she cares so much about the photographer.
Can we stop pretending Shoe is an ally yet? Shoe0nHead belongs in a prison cell for hate speech.
True.
Shoe herself is basically a terrorist enabler at this point. You are a Nazi. Shoe is literally just a Nazi. Yeah, Shoe is a Nazi. Shoe0nHead is a fascist and a danger to our community. This is—
So these are just random people who disagreed with her? A lot of people have come to accuse me, just for disagreeing with Shoe, of being a pedophile. Which, you know, when people keep saying pedophiles get the wood chipper, you gotta do this, that, and the other thing, when there's people perpetuating a groomer panic right now, when there are people saying that they're going to kill anybody that they think is a pedophile, you know, it almost makes me feel like maybe Shoe is just being a little bit of a professional victim again. Kind of seems like Shoe is just doing a big boo-hoo routine after she borrowed from Brittany Venti and then popularized a conspiracy theory that has absolutely no evidence to support it.
I keep trying to move on, but I've just never heard somebody be so wrong and so hypocritical so many times in a row just like this, back to back, right after she just finished showing you that a bunch of people on the internet are calling her a Nazi. You go on to say that those are just a bunch of random people, but you have people calling you a pedophile. And then you complain about the fact that people are threatening pedophiles with violence, as though the left doesn't constantly say things like punch a Nazi or Nazis shouldn't have rights.
They shouldn't. You should punch a Nazi and they shouldn't have rights. So what's wrong with that? Unless you're not a real Nazi. Obviously, you know, sometimes people call everybody Nazis, but yeah, fuck it. Who cares? Punch a Nazi in the face. Who gives a shit? I don't give a fuck. What is that? Who cares?
Your entire chat is spamming true while they are calling her a Nazi. Now, I do think that Shoe0nHead should do more to condemn her fan base, and I definitely think that people like that should be banned and blocked. But you can't say that it's just a bunch of random people for her, but then for you, it's super important. Okay, I gotta stop. I gotta stop. For now, we're moving on to Vosh. Vosh is the ringleader here, and I was actually very happy with the beginning of his video because he disagrees with like all of the main talking points that we've heard so far.
I think the most moral thing that you can do with the Balenciaga situation is for the entire world to do this. At Balenciaga. No far-right moral panic. No, like, insane, this means that the QAnon is real, actually. This is what I want. I think this is literally, like, the morally correct way to handle it.
Let's go. We finally get to review somebody with half a brain. Oh, my goodness.
No more
it looks like we can just wrap it up. He agrees with literally her entire thing, so that's it.
Earlier, my man, Zan, who never misses, by the way, posted a video called Destroying Shoe0nHead's Live. He'll response to me. Shoe blocked Zan. Zan called out Shoe over a thing. I forget all the details. Yes, that's right. Oh, DM also did a video, right, which released earlier. That's right. Demon Mama also never misses. Zan is probably right, but she was legitimately. I can't even think of that many. I can't think of any time that Zan's missed.
Is that transphobic to say that Demon Mama never misses? Because that's what you call women, misses. All right, Vosh. I mean, maybe you should practice being a little bit more accepting. Okay, just a little bit. Sorry, I'm not going to fight.
Zan miss? I think Zan misses.
Zan objectively missed. Demon Mama missed pretty hard too.
Okay, so basically Shoe did something, and that means I have to talk about it because everyone holds me to account for everything she's ever done. I don't know why this keeps happening.
Well, Hey It's Vadim and all of these lefties decided to hold Shoe.
So these are the Vaush orbiters that I've heard so much about. I haven't heard anything about anybody. I'm just fucking around. Damn, what is going on here? I'm surprised we're not fucking like acing this. The DPS is decent, I think.
Accountable for some right-winger that she's quote tweeted a couple of times. They decided to hold her accountable for the messed up stuff that he says, so you guys are actual friends. You guys have actually talked to each other.
And when you see these photos, you will probably understand why. One was a little girl on a couch with a very worried, sad look on her face, surrounded by alcohol and holding a teddy bear, teddy bear that was wearing a full BDSM harness. There was other pictures of the girl laying...
Alcohol? Yeah, are there like wine glasses down here? This is a flask. That's not BDSM. Okay, I'm just going to ignore chat. Let's ignore chat. That's fine. It says H2O. It's a hip flask that says H2O. Do you get it? Like, do you get... Okay. Yeah, we're just going to ignore chat on this. Okay, I do think the Balenciaga images are weird. That is a BDSM harness. I don't care if you're aware of some, like, esoteric other explanation. We're talking about what, like, the public perceives it as. There's always another way you can interpret basically anything. That's a BDSM harness. This is alcohol-coated. These are literally wine and champagne glasses. If you disagree, you're stupid, and I'm sorry. That right there is like a hip flask. It's kind of weird. I don't think it's QAnon, pedo, gate, red pill, whatever. But yeah, it's kind of weird. I've said this a million times. Let's go on.
This is so nice. I think I'm gonna cry. This has been so hard, and to finally hear somebody who makes some sense, it's just, I'm sorry. Let's go on to the next one.
That was a separate photo shoot, but it was there.
Balenciaga left Twitter. Not only did they delete their Twitter account, but they deleted every single photo off of their Instagram page.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
So I actually found all of this out because I saw a TikTok on my Twitter.
So I heard that apparently Balenciaga frequently does Instagram purges. I don't know if they frequently leave Twitter, but I think they do the Insta purges. I don't know if that's related necessarily to this. Okay. Oh God, please chat. Please chat. If you can just hold your shit together, by the end of this, we will all be happier. If you can just calm down and not inject your opinions into this and let me do this, please stop. Okay. The thing that happens every time is you guys get riled up to attack Shoe, so you make bad criticisms, and that shit sets me off. I don't like seeing people do that with Nazis, let alone Shoe, somebody that I'm actually on good terms with. Okay, so if you despise me being on good terms with Shoe, if you want to see that come to an end, then it's in your best interest to shut up and let me offer the criticisms. Okay.
Wait, did Vosh come up with like a next level big brain criticism of Shoe just because his audience wants him to? Well, it makes him seem reasonable. I don't know. Who knows?
Okay, because I can do it better than you can.
Base true. Let's go.
Here we go with Vosh acting like Shoe doesn't know exactly what she's doing, just patronizing us from decoy tricks in chat. Okay, you have never left your house. Don't even. Let's not even talk about not knowing Shoe. You know, you've never spoken to another human. Okay, you're an experiment. All right, you're living in a computer simulation. You have no idea.
After Vosh started off his video talking about how Demon Mama in Xander Hall never miss, oh, please to God, I hope he sees this video. He has no idea how hard he is ripping on them right now. These chatters are all just pre-programmed by Xander Hall and Demon Mama to say all of these idiotic things. The stupid things that he's upset with the chatters for saying are just stupid things that they got from Demon Mama and Xander Hall. These are all the same talking points. If he thinks these dumb chatters have never left their house, I'm pretty sure he thinks Demon Mama and Xander Hall have never left their houses. All that chatter did was just point out that Shoe0nHead's actually using this secret coded messaging, and she's actually trying to hide what it is she's really saying and what she's really doing. And they're circling this stuff and drawing lines from it, and they're finding all of the codes and the hidden messaging. And their problems actually start with them being socialists. If they understood capitalism, they would understand that their demand for crazy right-wingers is not as high as the supply. This is why they just start to eat their own. Isn't cannibalism like also a socialist thing? let's just hold on for a second. For anybody who thought, I'll just skip ahead to the Vosh part and see what happened there, you are going to be very confused. There is over an hour and a half of context leading up to this point. This is us just taking everything and wrapping it up in a nice tiny little bow. But you will not get that bow. You will not see the bow. You can continue watching if you'd like, but nothing is going to make sense to you if you did not watch everything before this.
Right off the bat, we've got a couple of issues in terms of, again, not position-wise, but in terms of like what the outcome of this rhetoric and behavior is, emboldening the right. Not to, like, leaving aside the fact that her initial characterization of people's response to Balenciaga left out the fact that it was the far right who jumped in it, not people. Leaving aside the fact she didn't mention that Britney is a Nazi. This is relevant info.
Bro,
you know, moral.
I just died because the fucking tank didn't put any DPS on the target that you would generally main focus, which is a club. Whatever.
Mechanics coming from like the far right are different from just, oh, people are concerned about. It is a critical distinction, you know? And then she jumps into this, oh, haha, if I get assassinated. Again, this isn't about positions. Nothing she's saying here is explicitly far right, or even, by the way, explicitly incorrect.
Oh my God.
I've made jokes about, you know, oh, bullet in the back of my head, whatever. But as we're going to see, there's kind of a pattern of like, I don't think Shoe's far right, but holy shit, does she go out of her way to not make them angry with her, you know? But we'll get to it.
So yeah, this is him just continuing to agree with all of my positions up until now. There's absolutely nothing wrong with what she did. It's what she didn't do that you can have a problem with, which Xander Hall and Demon Mama and Denim's fans can all pretend that that's what their real criticism was. But no, you guys threw in all of the conspiracy bullcrap, which completely ruined your entire argument.
Even if I removed my brain and replaced it with a little toy monkey with symbols or whatever they have going on up there, even if I saw it from their point of view, if the issue they have with all of this is that I shouldn't be talking about this.
This is like just, this is such a standard response, isn't it? That when somebody does something wrong or says something stupid or it gets blown out into the wrong way or whatever, and then like in response to my attempted cancellation, they want to silence me. They don't want me to talk. It's just it's just like the standard thing that comes out, you know?
Oh, here we go. Oh no. Vosh, watch this freaking video. Watch this freaking video, bro. Oh, nobody's saying this. Who's saying this? Oh, what? No one says this. That is literally what your friends are saying. You got Xander Hall, you got Merrick, you got Demon Mama, you got Denims, you got all their fans, you got all the people that she shows tweets from online, which is probably all of their fans. I don't think that these people are very common, so I would assume that all of the dumb lefties all congregate in very small particular places. But she is not strawmanning, and this is not lazy argumentation. This is who she is actually dealing with. They are not upset that she didn't give the correct caveats after she made the tweet. They are upset that she made the tweet at all. They are upset with the actual position. They are mad that she said it whatsoever.
Think of, for example, Bill Barr, right? That's the name, right? Bill Barr? He's the guy I'm thinking of, right? He's the guy who has the talk show. He did the thing. Yeah. Bill Maher.
Bill Maher. Oh,
no, not Bill Burr. Bill Maher. I was in between those two. Bill Maher. Anyway,
shit.
Bill Maher. Bill Maher is not, you know, a far-right guy. However, he has talked about trans people as a social contagion on his show.
I don't think that Bill Barr or Bill Burr or Bill Maher, crap, I recorded that to make fun of him and now I'm screwing it up. I don't think that that analogy is very apt, honestly, because Bill Maher has actually said things against trans people and doesn't seem to believe in like gender and that sort of crap. But I do think the overall point is correct, that it is a good thing to push back against your audience if they are saying things that are wrong or incorrect. In the sphere that we are in, our jobs are to educate the people that watch us. We also want to be entertaining as well.
I wouldn't really try to take on that role for the most part, because I mean, what the fuck, man? What the fuck can we educate anybody on? You know, I don't know. I'm not a teacher.
Well, but if you're going to be entertaining and mislead people, you need to be upfront about that in the beginning. Nobody gets online for a crowd to watch them and just says like, oh, what? There's no difference between me and them. We're all the same. No, there's tons of people watching you. There's nobody watching them. Them posting something in the chat is not at all equal to somebody saying something up on screen. And if you gain a following over time, you are given authority that maybe is undeserved, but that's still a responsibility that you need to take on and take care of. And that's really something that Shoe0nHead needs to learn about. So though the analogy was not really apt, I agree with the message. But there is another analogy that also was not an apt analogy and totally missed the mark.
I'll give you another example in another historical situation that we're probably not that familiar with, so that I can break up the mold a little bit, okay?
All right, break it up for me, baby. Oh, I'm not familiar with that at all, dude.
Vosh Nazi analogies today. Sorry.
I mean, I can bring this back to the most simple possible example to explain how psychotic this would be, okay? Imagine that you have a roommate and a friend. They're the same person. You're friends with the roommate, and you enter the kitchen while they're cooking, and you know, they're making like something. They're pulling something out of the oven, and you walk in and you say, "Oh, hi, friend," but because you turn the corner too sharply right as they're getting up with the thing they got out of the oven. You end up hitting them in the shoulder, causing them to drop, I don't know, boiling hot like lasagna. Yeah, lasagna.
Boiling hot lasagna.
They
Oh,
shatter
that's
the
bad.
glass. It hits their foot.
Why
400
just
degree
lock them
lasagna
into
gets
the thing?
everywhere. Broken glass all
What
over
the
the
fuck,
foot.
bro?
3rd degree burns. Dinner is ruined.
This is
Everything
an interesting poll
okay?
that this guy just
now,
did.
obviously,
Holy
you got to go to
fuck.
the hospital for this. That's gonna hurt, you know. And they're in the hospital, you know, and you follow along, whatever. And they're there, you know, their foot's got bandages, and they're
What a
like,
weird fucking poll this guy just made.
don't you have something you want to say? And you're like, what? And they're like, you hit me. You hit my shoulder. You made this happen. And you're like, I waved my arm to say hi to you. I didn't mean to knock the lasagna. And they're like, okay, I know you didn't mean to, but like, and you're like, what did I do? You have a problem with me waving hi to you? Should I not wave hi at you in the future? Like, what do you have an issue with that? Should I stop doing that? Is that what you want from me?
Yeah.
Do you think I'm making a joke? That's exactly what's happening here.
Yeah.
With no
You know the content's really good coming out of these guys now. It's when everybody in the chat's talking about beauty YouTubers that my wife likes to watch. That's how you know. That's how you know you made it. That's how you know you made it.
exaggeration.
So that's a great analogy by Vosh. I actually love it, but it is not apt. And the reason it's not apt is because it's as if the person who has the food dropped the food and then said, why did you murder everybody? I can imagine that for somebody like Shoe0nHead, it's hard to focus on the real criticisms when you have content creators like Demon Mama, like Xander Hall, making the disgusting criticisms that they've been making. They're calling her a Nazi. They start calling her a conspiracy theorist. They accuse her of saying all sorts of things that she never said. We have Merrick on Twitter weaponizing her trauma against Shoe0nHead to accuse her of things that she's not doing. And I don't think it's crazy if the person who
well, that person might just be caught up in the hype. This guy's just gonna sit here the whole dungeon like this, dude. Come on, like grow up, bro. Move. That person might just be caught up in it. Doesn't mean they're weaponizing it. Not everybody has like negative interpretations of everything. Like not everybody's a bad person just because they may not agree with you. A person probably thinks that they're valid. You know, it's not bad to listen to them. But
he bumped into them doesn't say, "Oh, I'm so sorry I bumped into you and knocked your food over." Instead, they say, "I didn't murder anybody. What is wrong with you? You're a freaking psycho." Yes, Shoe0nHead should have said, "Hey, I don't believe in these conspiracy theories. We shouldn't go attack trans people. We shouldn't go harass anybody." And those things would have been great from the start, but they didn't happen at the start. And then a bunch of people flooded her with a bunch of insanity. So I don't want to give her a pass on this, but I also need to take in all of the context. And I'm just not sure that Vosh has all of that information when he's reviewing this video.
I want to be clear here, seen in my entire life, very, very few instances of people on the left actually enabling pedophilia.
Well, that's nice for Vosh that he hasn't seen these things, but everybody who watched this video has seen dozens of examples of it.
What harm comes from this? Who gives a shit, dude? It's a kid holding a teddy bear. How traumatizing.
Oh, yeah, I guess
People
so.
love to misunderstand fashion. It's so tiring.
I'm just getting fucking
It's not
desturbated.
pedophilia, it's fashion, Mom. Look it up. Is putting a leather harness on a dog BDSM too?
This child is not being mutilated. It is just holding a bear that happens to have a leather strap on it. Petco.com. Oh no, they're selling pedophile wear.
I'm sorry, you can't fool a degenerate. That is a BDSM harness.
Maybe Shoe0nHead sees a piece of leather next to a child and starts getting a little, riled up. Maybe it's a little bit of projection on
Shoe0nHead. It's very strange that DM's video is being intercut here. The rest of this had everything censored, like every tweet shown. Zan's tweet, everything. I don't know why the clip chimping is happening from here. That seems very strange.
Shoe0nHead's part.
Oh, you think this looks weird? Well, you must be a pedophile yourself. Wow.
Okay, just to be perfectly clear, okay? I think those Balenciaga photos were sussy. However, no, it's not pedophilic to have a kid pose in a photo and they're holding a bear that has a leather harness. You do no...
I'm gonna die, so I don't care. But I don't... Does it have to be? I don't know. This is weird. It's just kind of... Holy fuck, I just got... Actually, my shit's getting pushed so hard this dungeon. Does it have to be explicitly pedophilic? It certainly seems incredibly inappropriate to me, at least. So it doesn't matter if it's actually, like, pedophilic. You know, it's a weird hill to die on, I feel, but...
good to children at all. You do literally nothing to help anyone with this, like, ridiculous fear-based, like, moral panic version of looking for it. It is sussy, but there is a line between, like, sussy and pedophilia. Go back and watch a Cartoon Network show from the 90s, and you're going to find some episodes that are a little sussy. That's not the same as them being promotions of pedophilia. That's the point of...
Bro, they do something like in a frontal cone, and I could have swore I was behind both fucking targets, unless this guy's constantly moving them around. I'm getting irritated.
Sussy. The term sussy, it means suspicious. Like,
sussy,
that's
suspicious.
Kind of weird. I wonder, that's not the same.
Bro, I'm gonna miss this.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's just incorrect, Vosh. Here. Suspicious, having or showing caution or distrust of someone or something. causing one to have the idea or impression that something or someone is questionable, dishonest, or dangerous character or condition. Both of those definitions work just fine, because what it is we're doing when we look at Balenciaga is saying, hey, this seems weird, this is a little pedophilic, but we're not going to accuse you guys of pedophilia, we just think it's freaking weird. And what we're waiting for is a response from Balenciaga. And when Balenciaga immediately takes all of their stuff down and immediately starts apologizing and filing lawsuits, we all look at each other and we're like, oh, okay, yeah, cool, based. Now, if Balenciaga had come back and been like, no, it's perfectly fine to do sexual stuff around kids,
don't you dare kill me
this would go from sussy to pedophilic.
Angry.
If they were like, yeah, who cares about those social norms? Who cares about trying to help children in this way? That would be pedophilic. We are suspicious of pedophilia. There's an actual thing that we are sus of. We are suspicious of pedophilia. There is no way I will ever get this video monetized. And the word pedophilic just means relating to pedophilia. So if it's pedophilia that we're suspicious of, then yes, it would be pedophilic. On top of that, Vosh just completely misunderstood what happened or missed it. I don't know if his brain turned off for a second there. Demon Mama infers that Shoe0nHead is a pedophile. And then Vosh starts arguing against Shoe0nHead, saying this isn't pedophilic, acting as though Shoe0nHead called Demon Mama a pedophile. I actually got into an argument about this in one of Vosh's clip channel comment sections. And there were people there saying that actually Shoe0nHead clipped Demon Mama out of context.
Oh, you think this looks weird? Well, you must be a
moving so much fucking asshole.
You don't like it, do you? Hey, Shoe0nHead. Hey, Shoe0nHead, how come you only played that bit of the video? How come you didn't go back and watch the actual video with your fans? How come you picked out the one joke I made, the part where I say, I bet Shoe0nHead wouldn't like it if it was done to her? If you literally just roll it back, I literally just say, man, I bet it would feel bad for Shoe0nHead to be subject to her own rhetoric. What an idiot. What a loser. She's literally molding and so salty. That's it. The best she could come up with.
You can go back and check yourself. I actually watched the 10 minutes leading up to that moment, and she does not say that at all. Here is the transcript from the 10 minutes leading up to it. So if anybody would like to point out the point where she says any of that stuff, you can pause it whenever and point it out, or read all of this if you'd like, but I promise you it didn't happen. It's not in there. She just did this and then lied about it. She's just lying. She is just a liar. And now Vosh is also repeating her words, saying that it's a clip chimp, and her fans are running around saying Shoe0nHead clip chimped her. She did not clip chimp her. It's just Demon Mama inferring that Shoe0nHead's a pedophile. That's all it was. Demon Mama's argument was to say that if Shoe thinks that this is pedophilic, then Shoe would be pedophilic. Shoe never said that just having BDSM is pedophilic. I'm pretty sure Shoe engages in BDSM. Demon Mama inferred that Shoe0nHead was a pedophile like 5 different times throughout her video. So she did it over and over and over. Shoe0nHead did not clip chimp Demon Mama here to make her look bad. This is actually what Demon Mama was doing. And I seem to have this problem a lot with people on the left, where I prove that their content creator has lied to them in objective terms. Everybody who comes into my comments says, so what? They're bad. People on the left are willing to be lied to, and they're okay with being lied to as long as they're being lied to about the right person. You just say whatever you want about Matt Walsh. Tell people he had sex with a dinosaur and that the dinosaur didn't consent to it.
Probably
and they
did,
will all run around saying that he actually raped the dinosaur. The people in these communities do not have any problem.
I can't believe Matt Walsh did that, dude. I'm surprised. I'm not surprised though. I'm shocked, but I'm not. Oh, fuck me. I'm not surprised though. I'm shocked though.
Problem with lying. They have problems with lying about people they like. And this has even happened with Vosh fans as well. These are Vosh's friends. All of these people engage in the same communities. They all hang out together. They all talk to each other. They have built cultures around these things, and they are all perfectly happy staying in these echo chambers and not taking criticism from outside people.
There are right-wing people who are constantly calling everything and anything to do with pedophilia, like gay shit, LGBT shit. Yes, I get it. I have a bi flag in the background of some of my videos, and I get comments like, nice groomer flag. Like, I get it. But how long should we not say anything in fear of giving them ammo? Because this was probably the most clear-cut example of something weird and gross, completely unrelated to gay people, and these people still did damage control for it. If anything...
They did damage control for the far-right people who immediately made it about gay people. You didn't put the Balenciaga tweet out, and then immediately a bunch of lefties responded to your tweet. They responded to the far right jumping on it. The one that you are very, very, very deliberately not acknowledging or describing the extent of.
Yeah, again, I do think she's downplaying this a little bit too much, but you're just incorrect. The lefties were defending it. They straight up defended it, and they straight up said there was absolutely nothing wrong with the document or the bear, which Vosh condemns both of those
the
things.
Bears. I should not have gotten
I mean, I can't explain away all of the tweets
I
getting
do not want to
censored and
finish
then
this, but I have to
Demon
know.
name getting censored, but not her face or whatever. But I think it would be weird to censor somebody's face in a video, and I think it's a lot more likely that she would censor people in tweets instead. Plus, Demon Mom is a public figure, so I don't care either way. She didn't censor a public figure, so what? I don't care. But the people she's talking about are people that are actually in your orbit and in hers. These are people that she was friends with and that she talked to. She does semi-acknowledge the right-wing stuff, and she also pushes back against the conspiracy theories by saying that she doesn't believe in them. She also talks about how she has LGBTQ flags and is clear about the fact that she supports the LGBTQ. So all of the things that you guys were upset about and that you wanted from her, she did in this video by saying that she doesn't believe in the conspiracy theories and that she is on board with the LGBTQ. Yet here you are still upset about all of these other things that she's already remedied. And I could be wrong here, but I could have sworn I've heard each and every single one of you say that you won't let the right wing dictate what your narratives are and what you are or aren't going to say.
Whatever, give the right ammo. It's the way you acted so quickly to defend this shit. And yes, by implying I can't talk about it or I'm committing scholastic terrorism or whatever the the new buzzword is, that is defending
scholastic
this. The shit that anyone with eyes can see is creepy. I have been talking about this stuff all of my career, and I have a great track record. I was talking about maps years ago, and now there's hired academics using the term. I warned about Amos Yee, who said I was too mean to pedophiles, and he was arrested for having CP. I exposed prostasia, then they shut down their forum, so young maps could no longer enter it.
You seriously
I helped get the word
fucking
out about this Balenciaga thing, and even the brand itself had to admit it was creepy and is now doing an investigation into it. I don't care if you yourself don't want to talk about this stuff. I don't care. You do you, I will do me. But all I ask is that you stay out of my way when I am doing me. And just know that I am not sorry. I did
Bro, there's no way that this guy died. He's like fucking 400 and something on his shit, and he doesn't know that he needs to pop a defensive there? Are you stupid? We're gonna fucking wipe.
wrong, and I will do it again. Goodbye.
So fucking dumb, bro.
Nah, it's genuinely disgusting. I can only regard it with malice. This entire video is framed as a from the left enabling of the moral panic that she was accused of enabling to begin with. Okay, let me sum this all up. At the end of the day, if you are a public figure, you are responsible for the outcomes of your behavior. Everyone acknowledges this. Anyone who...
Not true. There's some parts that you can be responsible for. There's only so much you could do, though. You're not fully responsible for all the outcomes of your behavior, or else, like, fucking whoever, the one guy that, like, shot the one other fucking Republican is because of Bernie Sanders. You know what I mean? Like, you're not explicitly responsible. There's a level of responsibility you have, but not all of it.
Who disagrees is psychotic. I'm going to stop, like, playing nice with this, okay? Shoe, if you believe that you should only be held accountable for the intentions of your behavior, you're a child.
I can't believe you just fucking...
The pretense that they are angry with you for going after Balenciaga is dishonesty on your part. It is a lie, and you know it is a lie, and you are lying deliberately, even if you pretend not to.
He goes on to say that, like, nobody's mad about anything that she's actually said. They're just mad about the outcomes, but as I've shown, this is just objectively wrong. He's wrong. He has no idea what he's talking about. They are just mad at her for talking about the Balenciaga situation whatsoever. When they're mad at her for pointing out the bear, when they're mad at her for pointing out the paper, when they're saying there's nothing wrong with any of these things, that is what they are mad at her for. They are mad at her for pointing it out at all. I mean, I thought everything she said was actually pretty base. He thinks it's disgusting, but the thing is that you can't convince her that these are negative outcomes when she doesn't even agree that the people who are tweeting all of this stuff out are bad people. She may not agree with a lot of the more conspiratorial parts of these things, and I think most people looking at bad people retweeting true things don't think, oh no, they retweeted something true and now they're actually getting truth out. Oh, crap. Normally, if that happened to me and some big right-wing figure tweeted my stuff out, I would be like, dope, now their followers have a chance to follow me and I'm getting some exposure to them. So hopefully I can pull them into some of the more nuanced and reasonable sides of politics. Because, yeah, I don't agree with Vosh on most of this stuff either. I think that they go way too hard on right-wingers and they use right-wing as a dog whistle to just say this person's bad. And I don't agree with that. Right-wingers that I know are just misinformed, but Demon Mama and Xanderhall aren't just misinformed. They're just liars. They're just blatant liars. They are malicious liars, and they are pieces of crap for it. Meanwhile, you got Shoe0nHead just putting out something true. You got uninformed people retweeting it and using it for something else, and you're super concerned with her and not your own friends. But I don't think I really have anything else to say here. I mean, I think I've made my point. I think I've made this crystal clear. If you have any issues with anything I'm saying, I stream on a consistent basis. You can come on and talk to me about it anytime. I've got Discord links in my description. My Twitter's there as well. So if anybody wants to hit me up, please feel free. Till then, be kind, be cool, appreciate you, love you, and I'll see you next time. Later, fools.
All right, cool. I'm banning whoever recommended this video to me.
I want Papa Gut to pee on my face, but just as a friend. There's nothing weird about that. I want him to pee on my face.